Welcome to my place of dreams, my spirit house, a city of ghosts.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la
Hue in central Vietnam is someplace I've never been before. But it's still Vietnam. With all the things, the smells, the sounds, the details I love so much. First night in country, it's like sliding into a warm, deeply comforting, familiar bath. I've been all over Vietnam, a place I feel a special connection to. My first love, a place I remain besotted with, fascinated by. So back in Vietnam, one of my favorite places on earth, and all of the things I need for happiness. Low plastic stool, check. Tiny little plastic table, check. Ooh, something delicious in a bowl, check. In this case, a local specialty, com hen, clam rice. Sweet, meaty little local clams out of their shells, tossed with a wild swirl of mung beans, white rice, spicy green chilies, crunchy roasted peanuts, fried pork rind, and cilantro. And a similar variation with rice noodles. Got fish sauce with chilies in it, and whoa, that'll just singe your eyebrows off. Throw some chilies in. Hit with some hot clam broth, and you're on your way. I'm back in Vietnam. Shit-eating grin for the duration. A giddy, silly, foolish man beyond caring. And a cold local beer. Huda, my preferred brand whenever in Hue. Clams with pork cracklings. How could that not be good? This is the way so many of the great meals of my life have been enjoyed. Sitting in the street, eating something out of a bowl that I'm not exactly sure what it is. Scooters going by. So delicious. I feel like an animal. Where have you been all my life? Fellow travelers, this is what you want. This is what you need. This is the path to true happiness and wisdom. Located on the north and south banks of the Perfume River in central Vietnam, mountains behind, sea ahead, an arrangement determined by criteria both military and spiritual. For 143 years, Hue was the seat of power for the Nguyen dynasty, which ruled the entire country until the late 1800s, when the French started taking power and land under their control. The French allowed the imperial throne to rule nominally the center of the country until the end of World War II in 1945. Hue has been celebrated for its dynastic architecture since the early 1800s. Vast palaces, pagodas, and tombs. A center as well for the intellectual, artistic, culinary, and religious life of the country.
Oh yeah, that's tempting.
It's around here somewhere. This is Dongba Market, and deep inside, somewhere in there, is what I want.
My way of thinking in the hierarchy of delicious, slurpy stuff in a bowl, bun bo hue is at the very top.
Nguyen Quy Duc is an author and journalist who spent much of his childhood in Hue.
If I'm gonna die, if I'm gonna go in prison, they give me a last meal, this will be
it.
This will be it.
Let's do it, man.
Here, Kim Chow creates an elaborate broth of mixed bones scented with lemongrass, spice, and fermented shrimp paste. At the bottom, rice noodles garnished, nay heaped, with tender, slow-cooked beef shank, crab meat dumplings, pig's foot, and huiet, blood cake. Garnished with lime wedge, cilantro, green onions, chili sauce, shredded banana blossoms, and mung bean sprouts, it's a wonder of flavor and texture. The greatest soup in the world.
Look at that, man. That is just unbelievable. Blood cake
Blood cake.
with the sauce.
Wow.
I want to see how much you put in there.
You gotta make it look really red in there. It has to be blood red.
And the broth is wonderful. People are put on earth for various purposes. I was put on earth to do this. Eat noodles right here.
When I was a kid, we used to tell each other, do not take a date that go out to eat this stuff, because you start sweating, your hair stick up.
Really? I would definitely bring a date for this, because if she doesn't like this, there's no hope of a relationship.
That's exactly.
You know, like if she said, oh, I don't know, there's like blood, there's icky stuff in there, that would be a relationship ender to me. I mean, I'm not kidding.
I mean, here you are having it in a market like this, but if she makes this in a place like New York or Paris, it would be real haute cuisine.
It just, I mean, this is as sophisticated and complex a bowl of food as any French restaurant. It really is just the top of the mountain. How long has she been here?
She started out when she was 12.
You live in a great country, man. Any country that could produce this is a superpower as far as I'm concerned. Man, I'm getting down to like the pepper residue at the bottom. How long does that broth have to simmer to get good?
Em ơi, cái nồi này mình nấu bao nhiêu lâu thì mới ngon?
Nấu bằng tiếng thôi thôi.
It's an hour.
Wow, really? I would have guessed like 14 hours. Happy, nice burning feeling around my lips, flop sweat, check. Happy. So we can pretty much cancel the rest of the show. I've achieved my happy zone. It's really all downhill from here.
My oldest friend in Vietnam, Lin. Originally assigned to translate, to guide, to escort, and to report on me back in 2000 when I first came to this country.
Lynn, how are you, brother?
My brother.
Good to see you.
His responsibilities to his employers have never been an impediment to our friendship. We meet at Zuyen An, where you pick your own seafood out of the tank and you cook it yourself.
You really do look exactly the same. You look good.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You also the same. No trace of time on your face.
Dude, my hair is white. I have the pictures. I look completely different in 2000.
People told me that all the seafood here are from the lagoon over here, Tam Sang. Tam Sang Lagoon is one of the biggest one in Southeast Asia.
I'm going for some eel. Season with lemongrass, green chili, and pepper, drizzle with house special sauce, grill over charcoal, and dig in.
I have the picture with you.
Oh, you have some old photos? Oh, my, look at me. Come on. I look like my own son here. Look at this. I look like I'm 30 years younger. And that's...
My son,
Ming. Ming?
he's now 17. He
Oh,
has
my
been
God.
Korea.
He's going to college soon. Wow. Oh, this at the island of Mr. Sang.
Tuần Châu Island in Ha Long Bay,
Hanoi.
Hanoi by the West Lake.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
This
We
is
look
you.
cool. We totally look cool here. But does everybody fall in love with the country like I did? I came here and it stole my heart, you know?
I think there's a very good meeting point between Vietnamese and American.
Yeah.
But in the past, it was over, and now it's a new time.
Wow, that's great. Dude, that's pretty spicy. Perfect with beer.
It stimulates more drinks.
Lobster from the South China Sea. Give it a nice haircut tableside, and it's perfect.
Sweet?
Sweet. Just like I remember back in Nha Trang.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm a sentimental guy, Len.
Sometimes at work, I try to be serious, and I just think about work, but I don't know why. When I meet you, I just think about drinking and getting something good to eat. One more cheer.
Good to see you again, my friend.
It's been a long time since my old friend and I met. A hell of a lot of road with this guy. One of the great joys of life is riding a scooter through Vietnam. To be part of this mysterious, thrilling, beautiful choreography. Thousands upon thousands of people, families, friends, lovers, each an individual story glimpsed for a second or two in passing, sliding alongside, pouring like a torrent through the city. A flowing, gorgeous thing. As you ride, you not only see but overhear 100 intimate moments in miniature. You smell wonderful unnamed things cooking, issuing from storefronts and food stalls. The sounds of beeping, laughing, announcements from speakers, the putt-putt and roar of a million tiny engines. Hui's place in history, long regarded as the heart of the Imperial dynasty, changed forever during the Vietnam War. In 1968, Hue became the site of some of the most bitter fighting of the war. During the Lunar New Year, the Tet holidays, when usually there was a cessation of hostilities, more than 100 cities all over South Vietnam were attacked by the North Vietnamese and VC. Hue quickly fell. You have seen these images. It was footage like this that turned finally a great part of the American public against the war. The U.S. Marines fought house to house to retake the city, a vicious 3.5-week-long battle. Eventually, artillery and air support were called in. The city was saved, and of course, largely destroyed in the saving. The civilian population caught in the crossfire were equally devastated. The North Vietnamese, to their enduring shame, had, while controlling the city, rounded up anyone seen as a potential enemy and either disappeared them away into unknown prisons or killed them outright. Most notoriously when they massacred almost 3,000 people, rolling them, many of them still alive, into mass graves in and around Hue. Duc knows full well the horrors and heartbreak of that time. In his memoir, Where the Ashes Are, The Odyssey of an American Family, he captures the terror of a 9-year-old boy, the son of a high-ranking South Vietnamese civil servant, caught up in the nightmare of war.
Where were you in 1968?
I was at the place where it's now a hotel. My parents were staying there. We were staying there. It was surrounded during the night. We didn't even know. My father looked out the window, just thought it was South Vietnamese soldiers. Everybody was surprised. In those days, we thought of the war as something happening out in the battlefields, in the mountains, out in the countryside. And all of a sudden, you come here and there's the flag of the National Liberation Front. And to see that was a complete shock. So we stayed for a week in the basement, and the American soldiers came. By that time, they had marched my father away, the North Vietnamese soldiers. We didn't know where he was taken to, and we had no idea whether he was alive or not. My mother went out to the mass graves when they were discovered, and she saw the bodies in there, and she's like, I can't go there and look for him.
A lot of people died here.
You can't help thinking about these people who died when they're young, who died for no reason, who just got caught in the firefights. We have the Day of the Dead here, the Day of the Wandering Souls, and we honor those who are not buried within their home village, are not taken care of, their spirits are not taken care of. There are families here who don't have a death date, which is huge. A death anniversary in Vietnamese is when you do the ceremonies, you pay attention to the dead. You can't do that if you don't know when they really died. You just assume those people are just never liberated spiritually, that they're stuck in that space. It was like that for my father. Because he was in prison, we had no news for him. You couldn't set up an altar. You just hoped that he was alive. 10, 12, 15, your friends are going out doing things. You would just have this weight on you that your father is somewhere imprisoned or in the jungles. And that stuff stayed with me for 40 years in my mind. I don't know how many Vietnamese have that kind of experience. At the same time, I come back to Hue, my hometown, my family's hometown. I'm glad people are alive, people are living, things are happening, things are changing. We need to let the country open up and let the people have a moment of enjoyment, have a better life.
I mean, obviously I'm an outsider, but it just seems to me as a casual observer, you could pretty much survive anything.
That's what my brother reminds me when I used to get all upset about things happening in Vietnam. He said, look, it survived 4,000 years. It will do okay. And when you ask me to be hopeful, I'm hopeful because it's a young country. It's a young population that's energetic, and that drives me, that gives me hope, that makes me young, that makes me want to believe in this country. And this town, such a wonderful place to be.
Boy Tran is a painter and something of a throwback, an anomaly, a creature from another earlier time in the life of the one-time Imperial city. She lives in an area called Tianan Hill, in a magnificently restored compound. These traditional wooden houses were once part of the regal style, with sloped roofs to handle the rainy Hui weather. But most importantly, they feature a garden at the center, which follows the Eastern philosophy that all things originate from a single source and expand in all directions. Since the loss of her beloved son, she's lived here, surrounded by her garden and her art. Occasionally, she invites guests and friends. There's Doc, writer and food blogger Lan, art collector Jean-François Hubert, and Philippe Damas. So this is your home, also a gallery?
Yes, I design and my people work.
She also cooks magnificently from a repertoire of Imperial Hui-era dishes numbering over 100. Back in dynastic times, the emperors demanded variety in wives, of whom they would sometimes have over 100, and in food. The menus of the 19th century imperial palaces boasted new dishes every night, small, flavorful, and beautifully presented. And that culinary tradition, which gave Hui its reputation as a food capital, continues today. How much of that persists, those imperial roots, that need for variety?
Dạ con, dạ mãi mãi, dạ con.
Yes, the tradition has stayed and it will stay forever here to cook all these different things all the time.
We start with bird's nest soup, a delicacy to which I am usually immune. This one is unusually flavorful. These are swallows' nests from high up on cliffs near Nha Trang. They're soaked in water, cooked in chicken stock, and served with crab meat. Lotus seeds, a symbol of purity, nobility, and patience from a nearby lake. Steamed. Crab roe is mixed with red onion, pepper, and seasoning and added to the soup, and simmered.
Cái đặc biệt của Huế á, riêng Huế thì Trân thấy là họ rất ít gia vị, vì những cái thực phẩm nó tươi ngon và rất ít, giống như nhà Trân mà nấu ít gia vị lắm.
The symbolic and health aspects of many of these dishes not to be overlooked. This is fantastic. Lovely. How does Hui differ from the rest of Vietnam?
A wonderful architecture and very quiet people. If you stay some time in Hue, after some days you feel quiet. You take your time.
Yes, ở Huế thì đồ ăn nó phong phú hơn vì cái sông mình nằm gần biển và những cái con cá mà nó sống giữa hai cái dòng nước. Chắc anh biết ở cầu Hai nước ngọt, mấy cái chỗ đó là con cá nó rất ngon. Rất là nhiều cá ngon sống giữa hai dòng nước, cho nên ở Huế thì nó phong phú hơn.
Goi Hui is a traditional dish that's seldom made these days because of its complexity and the time needed to do it right. A fish stock is made from kabang, a fish from the Perfume River. Pineapples, onion, chilies, shallots, and coriander. A salad of quickly cooked prawns, rice noodles, ginger, red chili, garlic, and galangal. Layer of rice noodle, banana flour, then the prawns, garnishes. The strained fish stock is brought to the table with the salad in separate bowls and combined just before eating.
It's spicy for you?
No, it's good.
Seafood is very spicy.
Oh, no, I like it. What I found when I first came to this part of the world, Vietnam in particular, my palate changed. I needed an elevated level of chilies and heat. Much of Vietnamese cooking abides by principles of yin and yang, heat and cold. This one, a lobster dish with 5 spices, balances the coldness of the lobster with the heat of the spices. Red onion, ginger, lemongrass, and chilies are added to the boiling water to cook the lobster. Once the lobster's cooked, it's presented in a bowl of lime leaves. and the stock is poured over it.
Whoa, that's beautiful. We're getting into this with our hands, I'm guessing. I like this. It's beautiful.
The winter here is unbelievable. It's very cold and wet. That's why we have chili to keep us warm.
Boitron spoils all of us with a succession of dishes. But the past, as it often does in a place like this, intrudes.
Hue, it's dealt with a lot of suffering. The people in Hue are very withdrawn in some ways.
Smiling, but of course, they remember everything. They have to remember the war in 1968.
I was visiting my grandfather's house, and I got goosebumps because I knew during the war in 1968, lots of people were killed, and they were buried on all the sidewalks there. And I walk around there, and I feel it. It's dark, it's somber, and the history is there.
They say every meter of hay there's a dead person. My mom, she never wanted me to go home after like 10. She get angry if I go home at 11 or something. That scares me, so normally when I go home at 9, I try to go home very early.
Riding a boat along the river, you sort of feel there are things living in the water, in the trees, in the darkness out there.
Know your enemy, they say. Know who it is you're facing out there. Who are they? Why do they fight? What are they willing to endure in the furtherance of their cause? These, one would think, are simple questions useful in any conflict. Meet the enemy. Okay, he was only an infant during our 9-year-long war. But Quyok Tan's experience should be instructive.
Sinh năm đó thì vào giữa năm 1967, giữa năm rất ác liệt.
In 1965, the United States initiated a sustained bombing campaign called Rolling Thunder, hoping to destroy an elusive enemy in villages like this one. Vinmoc, which was less than 20 miles from forward U.S. Marine fire bases just south of the DMZ. This is where Tan was born. As the target of frequent bombings, the village of Vinmoc moved underground, up to 100 feet down into darkness.
Sau khi mẹ ở đây sinh thì mình nằm ở dưới đây là 6 năm.
The villagers carved over 5,000 feet of tunnels out of the earth, creating a complex that would house all 90 families of Vinmoc, 13 entrances and exits leading from the inland to the beach. Showing me through the labyrinth is Kom Tak.
And careful.
Born in Hue during wartime, she's since moved to the DMZ to work as a guide.
How did they dispose of all of this earth and rock without revealing the tunnels?
The craters, craters were everywhere on the like that landscape on the moon.
Right.
And the dirt of the craters are so fresh, look new. So they need to hide that, just leave them there.
This was the maternity ward where Tan was born.
And where did people sleep?
They have sleeping places, just hold like this, but smaller, 2 square meters only, just enough to put a bamboo bed.
Hồi đó là
Ở trong cái phòng
ở trong phòng đó là cả chúng em mình là 4 người ở một đố, vì mẹ với hai chị.
How long did it take to build?
20 months digging.
20 months of digging
hand.
by hand.
With shovels and hoes, it walk up. The farmer that dug with their tool.
Right.
Under the bombing.
While the bombing is going on, they're down here digging this out.
Không sợ, đây là không sợ, vì đó mình chủ đất chúng mà tiếng nổ hắn khăn to bị cái sợ sập miệng nó trong này đang sập. Rung cái mặt này là bẩn này, nó còn hai bên này dồi này, cũng rung hết cả rung như thế, rung hơn vì cái mặt này là đất rất dày, cái gọp.
Wow. How many children here?
Thời đó em khoảng tới hơn 30 người đó. Bởi vì nếu mà lớn lên là cho đi là 8, còn ai nhỏ dài rồi mới trên.
How did they play?
Bé nó chỉ đuổi nhau chạy lũ chạy tới đó mà lúc nào mà gọi về ngủ thì lom về ngủ.
So much of the time you're in total darkness?
Yeah.
You don't even you can't see your mother.
Some people, they say that even when the parents, feed the children, they need to turn their face and find their mouth and feed them.
Wow.
Children played here. But people also emerged from these tunnels to kill or cripple Americans, to shoot them, to plant booby traps. And that's what they did. 6 years in darkness. And at the end of the war, the people of Vinmoc emerged from that darkness. And what did they do?
What was that like after living in darkness for so long? What was it like to come out and be able to spend the rest of his life in the sun?
Hồi nữa đi ra ngoài và trở lại với cuộc sống bình thường, anh thấy đó. Tại vì sinh ra trong địa đạo và ra ngoài trời đi.
Lúc mà mẹ mà vì cán bộ là họ cho giờ lên đất liền, là lên sau đất liền thì sáng sủa quá mừng như nữa. Làm lại nhà cửa, đi cắt trấn cột trái kèo nữa làm lại nhà. Đó mới đi biển theo bộ đi biển đấy chứ.
Thank you. Wow, ready.
Cảm ơn. Thank you.
Looks kind of like a mackerel.
Đó, bóc khăn đến hành để ăn thôi.
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. Last question, hypothetical. If the French or the Japanese or the Americans suddenly decided they want to, for some reason, come back, would he fight?
Cái đấy mà họ đụng chạm họ gây mình thì là tất nhiên mình phải bảo vì con người mình là một, đất nước mình là hai nhé, nó mà họ đến tham quan hay du lịch thì vô tư vui vẻ thôi, có gì đâu.
Oh,
That's different. They're all welcome if they're tourists.
There are particular sounds that come with waking up in rice country. At Tamzang Lagoon, however, early morning is the end of the workday. As fishermen who've been out on the water tie up close to shore and sell their catch in the early mist. I'm meeting up with Lan for what she's promised will be a very tasty afternoon snack. Kwan Bon Ole is set back from a quiet lane in the outskirts of town. It's a neighborhood place specializing in this. Bon Bayo, little pancake-like things made of rice flour, steamed in molds, and topped with crispy fried shallots and cassava paste and crumbled fried shrimp.
So show me how you eat this. What do we?
I had this when I was a little girl. So try to beat it up like this.
Right, I got it. Just cut around the edge here.
I feel so clumsy. It's been a while.
Fold it over.
No, it's just
Oh, it just. Oh, it's great.
This is so nostalgic to me. When I was younger, every noon, my mom asked me to take a noon nap. She said, if you take a noon nap, then I will buy you some bun. And I will sit there in front of our house waiting for
Waiting.
her. Yeah, waiting for her with a dish, an empty dish waiting for her. She will come and then my mom will buy it for me. You do a hairstyle.
Yeah.
At the end of the meal, we say who eat the most. Like,
Oh, so you have a stack?
Yeah.
That's way style? Good, I'm glad I'm fitting in. Ooh, what are they eating in the banana leaf? Are we having one of those too?
yep, we have everything.
Oh, good, okay. I don't want to leave anything out here.
Oh yeah, there's bon bot lock made of cassava or tapioca with pork and more shrimp from the lagoon, wrapped like a tamale in banana leaf, then steamed.
So even open the thing is also an art. In Vietnam, we still learn how to wrap the thing and you learn how to unwrap the thing. So unwrap the thing is also an art.
Right.
Thing that you
Oh, really? I'm watching you. Let's get this right.
You do it right,
Oh,
you're
I'm doing it
perfect.
right.
I think you're an expert. Maybe the life before you was born in Hue.
In a past life? Yes.
Yeah.
So this is shrimp. Mm-hmm. Pick it up and dip, right? Very nice.
Nice.
Oh, they're pretty too. Look at that.
But log is very honest. You can see through what inside.
You call this type of eating an choi.
Enjoy is like for fun or playing.
Recreational eating.
Yeah.
So it's not a main meal, it's a snacking.
Yeah.
Banh ra meat is a delicious marriage of fried and glutinous sticky rice dumplings. It starts with frying the paste in cooking oil. Then, unpeeled shrimp are stuffed into dough. Place the chewy part with the crunchy part and sprinkle with chopped fried shrimp.
Oh, wow. Oh, that looks awesome. What is underneath?
Rice base.
Rice. Oh, okay.
But on the top is steamed. At the back is fried thing.
Well, that's great. Oh, it's nice and crispy and greasy. I love it. Anybody would love this. It's just amazing.
It's a combination between the soft and
The soft and the crispy, crunchy. Delicious.
Last ride, a few miles out of town, whip across the rice paddies. Just getting from here to there, this part of the world, it's pure pleasure. I'm meeting my friends for a country lunch.
Related to
What's the specialty at this restaurant? You were saying chicken and baked in clay?
yes.
Another friend from the past, Ha Pham, Lynn, of course, Lon, and a new friend from Hue, Tan. A last meal, some goodbyes.
I have a question. What makes you stay so long in Hue? Because normally travelers, they come to Hue, they stay only 1 or 2 nights and that's it.
Really?
What's your impressions about Hue?
It's very laid back. The food's great. It's pretty. There's a lot to see. It's a perfect place to go if you want to take your time. It's beautiful to me. Food's coming.
Out here, there are a lot of dishes like this. Fill a chicken with lemongrass, wrap it in banana leaves, then cover with the muddy clay from the nearby rice paddies. Cook in the coals or a pile of burning straw if you like. Unwrap carefully, table side. Section with shears.
Smells so good. Make me hungry.
Serve with a little lime and salt, maybe some chili sauce. Squash, bitter melon, and morning glory greens for veggies.
That's good.
Some unexpected last words.
On behalf of people in Hue, thank you for your comment.
Thank you for having me.
We wish you would have a pleasant trip, safe and sound and success.
Thank you.
I learned many things from American. I still remember some poems such as Stopping by Goose on a Snowy Evenings. I can sing it.
Please.
Yeah. Sometimes drink a lot of beer, I forgot. Whose schools these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. You cannot see me stopping here to watch his schools fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without our farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gave his harness bell a second to ask if there's some mistakes. The only other sound of easy wind and downy flake. And something like...
Bravo.
So we wish you have a good trip, have a good flight. Will you come back after you return to New York?
I'll come back to Vietnam, always. Cheers, everybody, and thank you, all of you, for all your help.
Cheers all the time.
This is who came out of the ground, out of the jungle, the darkness, when it was all over. And this is what they did. I remember the moment I first realized I'd been living my whole life in black and white. It was like discovering a color I never knew existed before. A whole new crayon box full of colors. That was it for me. From then on, there was no putting the pieces back together, no going home. Things were different now. Asia had ruined me for my old life.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
Whiskey for farmer.
Oh, that's good. This guy's trying to kill us.
They make more than 100 bottles a day, so 30,000 bottles. Yeah, that's a lot of. That's a lot of. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
Or have I had too many whiskeys?
How did this happen? How did I get here? Coming into focus, the man across the table. He looks familiar. Maybe, if I can remember who he is, it'll be a clue as to where I am.
Okay.
Right, Andy. Andy Ricker. The white guy who cooks awesome Thai food.
Is it pretty spicy? Put that in there.
The Pok Pok in Portland, restaurants in New York. Andy's made a name for himself faithfully reproducing the cuisine of northern Thailand. The good stuff that comes from places like here. Rice country. Chiang Mai province. In this part of the world, you live and die by the harvest. Thai food is intensely regional, and northern Thailand in particular has many distinctive features. This is a world of fresh, delicious, spicy, meaty, salty, sour, sweet, bitter. Often with a just-picked herby dimension. And always, the most vital thing, giver of life, sticky rice. Andy here is constantly back and forth from America to Thailand for nearly 25 years now, looking for recipes, techniques, digging deeper and deeper into an amazingly complex and widely misunderstood cuisine.
เหรอ
And getting his ass chastised by a few aunties as he goes.
Okay.
On this trip, Andy's working on a new cookbook, investigating the eating and drinking culture of the region. Which might be why he thought of me, and why we're drinking Shine for breakfast. Where there's food, there's also going to be booze.
Oh, โชคดีครับ
And likely, a lot of it.
Oh, it's good.
This is nemprik ong. You make a chili paste with chilies, garlic, shallot, shrimp paste, and tomatoes. And then you mix it with pork.
That's for you. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And then amprik is awesome.
Isn't it delicious? This rice is grown here in the village. You just kind of make a little spoon-shaped ball with it.
Now, what's the famous greeting? Is it, have you eaten yet, or have you had rice?
It's both. Literally, it means, have you eaten rice yet? But what it really means is, how's it going?
It is assumed that if you haven't eaten yet, things are not going well. If you've eaten, rice is such a fundamental component.
Eating is synonymous with eating rice. To eat a meal without rice would be unthinkable.
What makes their whiskey special?
ทำมาจากข้าว
Because of the flavoring that they add to it.
Conveniently, our hosts, in addition to having provided us with a fine meal, just so happen to run a distillery out back.
They use spice mixture they add to the yeast balls, let it ferment for 5 days,
Right.
and then she smashes it with a wood mallet.
Thai rice whiskey, lao khao, bucket of hooch, whatever you want to call it, this stuff is a delightful beverage that tastes better and smoother, apparently, the more you drink.
Oh, here we go.
Whiskey.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Well,
And then fried fish. I believe it's called Nile tilapia or Nile carp. They just salt the hell out of it and then deep fry it.
good stuff.
First one, same gasoline.
Yeah.
Fine. Oh.
This guy's trying to kill us.
Yeah.
Okay.
ขอบคุณมากครับแม่
For my answer.
Yes, for your uncle, yes. 69 years old.
Looking good.
He drinks half a bottle every day.
So it's pretty much the Keith Richards health and preservation plan. All right, I'm gonna get healthy too.
Where?
The whiskey, I have to say, is taking hold in some clinically fascinating ways.
Funny.
I lost the plot.
That's okay.
It all comes back to me as the world shifts and tilts.
Oh, yeah.
And though I've been looking out a whole lot of hotel windows these days, struggling to figure out where I am,
Okay.
being here, throwing back shots of rice whiskey with these guys, I know I'm back in Thailand. Not just Thailand, but northern Thailand. Once known as Kingdom of a Million Rice Fields, it's a fertile, green, and gorgeous area, home of the ancient Lana people. Welcome to Chiang Mai province, tucked up near the borders of Burma, China, Laos, India not too far away. All of them have left their mark on the food.
Here's the local hooch,
Here we
Lao
go.
Khao.
And if you're eating here, chances are you're also drinking.
Compared to the stuff we had this morning, this is substantially more harsh, I would say, and less fragrant.
The village of Mayon. And this place is called Him Tang.
How did you find this place, Ben? We're in the middle of nowhere.
It's a very popular place.
A restaurant showcasing one of the distinguishing elements of northern Thai cuisine, the heavy use of animal protein.
You see the local people, they're lining up. We're in northern Thailand. Pig reigns supreme. So most of the stuff we're eating here is made out of pig.
Okay, so what did you order?
Grilled pigtail.
That sounds superb. Yeah.
Yep. And then we ordered some saiua, northern Thai herbal pork sausage.
Oh, yeah, I'm on that.
Brain, some pig's brain.
Yeah, I'm not a big brain fan. A custardy sort of texture, coupled with a sort of nutty taste. Frankly, I'd sooner grab a big handful of nutsack, so to speak.
It's mixed with a curry paste and some herbs and stuff, thrown into a banana leaf and then grilled. It's like eating scrambled eggs. You'll love it. Then we ordered lu, raw blood soup.
Raw. What do you mean? If they don't cook it in the...
They do not cook the blood.
They put it into a hot soup.
No. This is raw blood.
Really?
There's two kinds that you can get here. One is the addition of ki-on, which means young shit. So it's basically the partially digested juice that's made from when a cow eats grass. Shit juice is not.
Oh, jeez.
Exactly, yeah.
No.
I did not order that. We're not having that.
Okay, but we're not having that.
We're not having that.
Okay.
I'm thinking we'll stick to the plain blood soup. Thank you very much.
And the way that they make it is they take the raw blood and they scrunch it with lemongrass for a long time. Because that kind of kills the gamey flavor of the blood, helps with the coagulation, and adds flavor. And then they actually make chopped lab, the minced meat salad, but it's raw. That goes in. A whole bunch of deep fried kruang nai, or innards.
ลูกที่ได้ลำที่สุดก็ฮักตัวถึงได้ทำมา17 ปีเนี่ยบะหมี่ท่อเลย
Here it is. Ooh.
You're not kidding. That's like a horror movie. Like CSI soup. I'm eating out of an open wound. Actually, that's completely delicious.
It's utterly delicious. And that makes you look like a vampire. It's quite spicy. You can taste the chilies. It doesn't really taste like blood. It just kind of tastes sweet and rich. Let's see if we can change your mind about brains.
Delicious. I'm not lying.
This is delicious.
Anyone would just completely love this.
If you eat too much of this, you'll go blind. That's what they think.
Yeah, they said that about off, and I'm still here.
And it has to do with parasites and all kinds
What,
of shit.
huh?
Can I tell you some stories about
Whoa,
this?
whoa, whoa, back up there, Buckaroo.
Yeah, we got
parasites?
about 2 or 3 years ago, and a whole family in Nan province, all 7 of them died.
That's really, you probably should have told me that during the appetizer course, okay? Honestly, best meal I've ever had in Thailand. Ever.
I'm super happy to hear that.
I'd eat it out of Chris Christie's jockstrap on a hot summer day. This is CNN.
Oh, God.
In Chiang Mai, you can move in and out. From the quiet green of the countryside to just a few miles away, the madness and chaos of Chiang Mai City, second largest in Thailand. Spirituality, reflection, the serene beauty of the rice paddy, village life. Maybe next episode, Farang. This time it's all about consuming medically inadvisable amounts of food and drink. If Thailand is one of the best countries to eat in,
cheers,
then Chiang Mai is a particularly good city to find yourself hungry.
Oh, that's your frog.
That's the frog. It's basically taking that frog, grill him first, hack it up, fry the living bollocks out of it with garlic.
There's almost an inverse relationship. Like, the more hideous looking the dish, the more delicious it is.
As you probably noticed by now, the food here is not pad thai or green curry chicken. There are complex layers of flavor, sophisticated balances, spicy, sour, a little bitter, salty, herby. Color and texture are important. Crispy, soft, cold, hot. It's exactly this interplay between elements that makes Northern Thai food so thrilling and so addictive.
This place is called Lab Gao Cham Cha. Lab is the dish that they're known for, which is the mincemeat salad.
Now, what's that furry material there?
That's one of the many stomachs of the cow. It might be the 3rd stomach. And it's bitter. It means it has just a little bit of the bile. The gentleman over there, Uncle, he's the lob master. They win lob competitions.
Oh, yeah?
They're killing it. They're supporting the whole damn family. The woman who just took her order,
Right.
her family, and her husband, who's the guy who's the cashier, the uncles, and aunties. When it gets really busy, the rest of the family comes and helps.
You famously said that you hate the word authentic. What does that word mean?
Depends on the context. If you're in the United States and you say a traditional authentic Thai restaurant, to me that has come to mean a standard Thai restaurant in America, that menu. When you come here, authentic is if you're the daughter of the woman who made this, then to you this is the most authentic version of that dish. If you're from Nan province, you still make lab, but it doesn't taste like this. It's a little bit different.
The slob's amazing.
Friday night, and Chiang Mai comes alive.
Thailand, we welcome. We love you.
Andy has promised a compressed eating and drinking grand tour of the city, a bounce by tuk-tuk from one place to the other until we simply can't take it no more. Next stop, it ain't Flavor Town. It's someplace beyond that, man. Way beyond.
Welcome to Thailand and happy stay here in Chiang Mai.
On your mark, get set, go.
Cheers.
This may surprise you, but I am not an alcoholic. I don't drink at home, ever. There's no beer in my fridge. If I'm not working, I'm not hanging out in bars. But if I was an alcoholic and I did hang in bars, I'd hang here.
Some karaoke, maybe?
Even though the very mention of karaoke makes my blood run cold with fear.
You ordered French fries?
Yes, I did.
Apparently it's a indigenous specialty.
In Thailand, fen phi is probably one of the most popular menu items. They always have food to eat when you drink.
What is this whiskey we're drinking, by the way? I haven't really paid attention.
The whiskey we're drinking here is actually rum.
ยินดีต้อนรับท่านที่มีความเพศของหลวงพี่เปื้อนโจมักกินลาบเปื้อนโจมักกินลูกกินลูกแล้วปากแดง
This guy's good.
It's one of the great things about a place like this. You'll never have to fill your own glass.
เปื้อนโจมักกินเหล้า
That could be me someday, I'm thinking.
กินแล้วเมา
Things go just a little wrong, I go off the rails. This would be all too attractive.
เมาแล้วมักกินละอ่อน
I could well see myself singing Happy Birthday in German to tourists in a hotel bar in Jakarta or Bangkok.
นอน
Enjoy my fen phi. I think this is a fantastic discovery.
กินเหล้า
This is gonna stick in my head now. That song.
โจมักกินเหล้า
Chiang Mai at night, and we are well on our way. To where, to what, I don't know, I don't much care.
อยู่ก็ถ่ายให้เหลือเกินเลยเนาะ
But I do know it's time to eat. In Thailand, it's almost always a time to eat. Oh yes, and drink. We shall be doing that too.
The inevitable ice and beer. Way to drink beer in Southeast Asia.
Beer, you say? Oh, all right, in the interest of research, of course.
You got beer, you got booze, you got ice, you got some grilled meat.
Snackage? Yes, I would like snacks.
They've got pork chin and intestines. You got a spicy dipping sauce. Ah, this is a Chinese liquor.
All right.
Oh,
Tastes like boner medicine.
yes. It also tastes like a dirty sack.
When did you come to Thailand first?
I believe it was 1987, and I came as a backpacker. It was all about smoking dope on the beach,
Right.
eating mushrooms, chasing girls, and drinking beer. I had a 3-month ticket, and I ended up staying away for 4 years. Here we go.
Oh, man. So what was the dish? There's a dish in every traveler's life where they just said, okay, my previous life is not going to be enough for me anymore,
There's a particular mushroom. They make soup out of it. It was unlike anything I'd ever had in my life.
When I first came out to this part of the world, noodles, I knew right then. I'm not joking. It wasn't the girls, it wasn't the beaches, the noodles, the greasy bottle of fish sauce,
And the smell is this terrible moment where you realize, I can't share this. That's it.
About 5 seconds, we're going to go past a woman who has a cowboy hat on.
ตอนแรกไฟมันส่องตาค่ะก็ได้ใส่บวกพอใส่บวกแล้วลูกค้าก็รู้ว่าใส่ร้านใส่บวกอย่างนี้ก็เลยเป็นเอกลักษณ์ค่ะ
The lady with the hat stands out among the dozens of street vendors across from the old city's north gate.
The best cow kamu, or stewed pork leg in the city. Potentially none finer in Thailand.
Yeah, are we doing that?
Well,
For years, she's been serving this, khao kamu, slowly stewed pork.
she cooks it in a master sauce. You know, the Chinese master sauce, where you're cooking it the same thing. It probably goes back at least a generation.
It's like sherry. There's a little bit of the original batch still in there.
Exactly.
She's hacking red meat all day, and there's like not a drop on the frilly.
This is a sauce that goes with it. It's kind of like a sour chili sauce. And then you got to have some of these pickled mustard greens too, pak dong.
That's really tasty.
This place is famous as hell. Like half the people here are tourists, probably Chinese tourists.
ค่ะตอนนี้ก็พูดถึงเยอะค่ะคนกินนี่ทั้งประเทศเลยค่ะเวลาคนกินแล้วบอกว่าอร่อยแล้วก็มีความสุขค่ะ
Let's do it.
You want to stick your feet in some fish water?
No.
No.
All right, let's go, guys. I need to stop at a sports bar. I need to have some chicken wings. I need to have some like fried mozzarella sticks. I need to go to a gun range.
More beer, more food.
If you go on the sidewalk, it'll take us like 10 minutes to get 50 feet. Kind of stay to your right and don't get killed.
What was I saying? Oh yes, beer loves crispy. Beer loves salty. Beer loves fatty. Spicy, salty, fried, together. Happiness.
Oh, okay. No beer.
Okay, what are they drinking?
They're drinking water.
Clear kidney cleaning water. So good. It's so important to a healthy lifestyle. I'd imagine.
Midnight Nam Prik Noon. That's what you do after you've had a few drinks, maybe a lot of drinks, because what you need, maybe you didn't know you needed it, but you do, is Nam Prik, Thai chili dip.
Yeah, nemprik is what the vast majority of Thai people who live in America, who come to Thailand to visit, who go back, end up getting busted at the airport for trying to bring in.
We get two kinds, Nam Prik Thai Dang.
It's a combination of chilies, garlic, shrimp paste, dried fish.
And this.
Colloquially known as midnight nemprik noon.
Made from roasted green chilies. Accompanied by God's preferred delivery systems for beer-friendly goodness.
Ooh, yeah?
Yeah,
I'm on that.
A whole bunch of deep-fried little salty, meaty, delicious things. Yes, please.
Uh-huh. Oh. And
some eggs.
Kai tom.
Yes?
And oh yes, something I've loved from the first mouthful I ever had, right here in Chiang Mai all those years ago. Thai pork sausage.
Crispy, meaty, salty.
I love it. I want to rub it all over my body. And this sausage is so amazing. It's somehow the thing you need right now. This is totally the thing I need right now. Oh, it's so good. Okay, come to me, my love, right now. You big, nasty, unfamiliar, semi-cooked egg. Oh, it's so good.
I once wrote, your body isn't a temple, it's an amusement park. Enjoy the ride. But that was before I had a daughter and a respectable job at CNN. So when that little voice in my head said, call it a night, quit while you're ahead, I probably should have listened. Wait, where did we leave off? Ah, yes, now I remember. Bouncing to one bar after another.
We're going that way.
Which way?
That way.
Okay, good.
Andy and I have clearly tucked our way well beyond the threshold of acceptable conduct.
The music, the dance.
But do we call it a night? Quit while we're ahead? No.
We're gonna head over to see a time-honored tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The Lady Boy Cabaret.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, here it is.
Ladyboys, as they are known in Thailand, have led to many an embarrassing moment for the amorous cowboy too buzzed to notice or care much about the details.
My first experience with this kind of atmosphere in Thailand happened in Koh Phangan in 1987. I met this girl and I was like stoked because it was like, oh, she's into me. And like, at some point she sat on my lap and she's like, oh, well, I have to go now. I have to go do something. And she gave me a kiss and I was like, I'm in. And the show started. Forgive a guy for making a mistake. Totally.
Many ladyboys, frankly, are pretty spectacular looking, especially the ones who have breasts.
You know, the women are harsh in the buzz. There should be a guy thing.
Absolutely.
They should have a sports bar. Actually, that's a brilliant idea.
You should bring that to New York.
Okay, if we had a ladyboy show in a sports bar, you could watch football, drink a lot of beer, and around beer number 8, bring out the ladyboys.
Just my luck. At a show like this, what happens?
Like she says.
I end up kissing the one lady boy in Thailand who looks like Ernest Borgnine, straight on the lips. Of course, I am completely oblivious to the day-glow white lipstick all over my face. Out of context, photos of me here tonight end up on the internet. This could look bad.
Awesome show. Good. Totally going home alone, by the way. I just want to make sure that's established in the continuity. In spite of all evidence to the contrary. Yeah. Snacks?
Snacks, let's go eat.
This train has long ago come off the rails. One bar after another. It's time Andy and I head to an appropriate follow-up to a night like we've had. More food, quickly. This has become an emergency situation. There it is.
Drunken noodles, dude.
Pad Kimao is actually not a noodle dish. It's something served with rice.
How can you have drunken noodles with no noodles?
This is what we need. whatever it is.
It's something devised for drunken people to eat.
Oh, that's us.
Something to sop up the roiling tide of Lao Khao sloshing around on my stomach. And I need to sober up in case Ernest Bourdain calls. She said she'd call. I feel so used.
Cup and tap. In the north, they love to eat pork here. Look at all the damn chilies. There's a lot of chilies here. We got these fresh red ones. We've got these green ones that were sliced and stir-fried in there. And we've got small green peppers.
สวัสดีค่ะ ชื่อแม่ตุ๊ร้านกระเพราสำหรับคนชอบเผ็ดค่ะ
Oh, whoa. That's hot. Whew. I breathed in, got hit with the chili.
Yeah.
Down the sides of the throat.
Yeah, you know when you've really hit like super hot, like when you feel like you're having a brain hemorrhage? It's like an ice cream headache, but it's like a pepper headache.
Yeah, and your vision starts to tunnel out.
And you're halfway through, and you're aware that your hair is just burst into flames.
That perfect balance of pain and pleasure and more pain. Brain flooding with endorphins, and all is well with the world. Until tomorrow morning.
So, dude, I've had a couple of cocktails. I think we should like totally get like tattooed tomorrow, man.
Magic tattoos.
Time for bed.
So I woke up in a state of confusion and deep concern after inadvertently making out with Ernest Bourdain last night. I spiraled into some identity crisis. Inadvertently making out with Ernest Bourdain, I'd like to say. Yeah, it was very traumatic. I need to go to a strip club and watch a football game, mow the lawn, and barbecue all at the same time. I'll mow somebody else's lawn. And I don't mean that in a figurative way. I can't talk, it hurts to talk. Oh. You know, if every region has sort of an iconic dish, you're talking northern Thailand, Chiang Mai, this is it. Hearty broth of curry, coconut, noodles, and spices. I'm all over that. Oh, yeah. They eat some more onions. The boys at the bar tonight are gonna be in for a surprise if they move in for a smooch. God damn, that's good.
I'm a big believer in a healthy, nutritious breakfast. It's the most important meal of the day. My doctor said that. Of course, he also said that just about everything I love and hold dear is killing me, so what does he know?
Attention hippies, this is a salad. Green papaya salad, that's not really a local thing, that's a Pakistan thing, but I couldn't resist. Spicy papaya salad, some cow soy, and I gotta find a Catholic church. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I kissed a man on the mouth. Oh, it burns like the fires of hell. Burn away, sin, burn away.
Okay, last meal time, last lap. Stagger across the finish line. Andy's favorite spot in Chiang Mai, a family-run restaurant named Auntie Deng's Hammered Meat. And the jokes pretty much write themselves, folks.
No, every year. Every year.
Andy's been coming here forever, since it was only Auntie Deng's lightly slapped meat. He's practically family.
รอนานแล้วนะ
พ่อมจะทำอะไรครับ เป็นทำงานอะไรนะครับ
เดี๋ยวให้ตุ๊กจีนเลย
ตุบจินเนาะ ตุบจินนะ ตุบจินได้ไหมครับ
นี่แหละขอนะนี่ให้
ทุบจีนได้ไหม
ทุบจีน
โอเค
จะมาเป็นลูกเขยต้องทุบจีนให้เป็นนะ
Hammered meat, here anyway, is beef or pork that's been charcoal grilled, then pulverized into ropey threads to give it a distinctive texture, then served with spicy chili and galangal dip.
ทุบให้ผ่านนะ ถ้าไม่ผ่านเราจะทุบเด้อ
พอแล้วไหมครับ พอแล้วเนาะ
พอแล้วใช้ได้เลย
ใช้ได้ไหม
เยี่ยม
Oh, so I guess I've been accepted by the family, and I'll be living in the house here next door. And my job is going to be to smash beef with a hammer every night, probably for the rest of my life. ครับขอบคุณครับ
This woman has expectations, dude.
I'm in deep trouble. It's pretty obvious.
What do they pound it before they cook it?
It wouldn't look like that if they pounded it before they cooked it. Right. The
Well,
whole
I'm not
idea
going
is
to question a classic. That's good.
chewy. Chewy. Still chewy. Still chewing. It's delicious.
And because Andy is a VIP and potential future son-in-law, Dad, sporting his 40 amulets of protection, brings out the chef's special, a bitter soup with buffalo tendon spiked with bile.
That doesn't sound good. Man, it is addictive right away.
Deep and dark and herbaceous. You getting some of that heat? Yeah.
You know, we talked about once you experience some of the sensory pleasures of the East, your previous life just isn't adequate anymore.
When the journey's coming to an end, when the movie's over, what's left to do? Oh yes, wrap things up. I think we've learned something here today in Chiang Mai. I can't summon exactly what that might be right now.
You know, I was thinking about this whole Muhammad said, you know, don't tell me what a man knows or what he says. Tell me where he's traveled. You learn stuff.
Maybe it's to remember to bring something to remove makeup before hitting the cabarets.
Like the first time that I spent a long period of time in Thailand, that sort of brightness, the spiciness, the simple elements making kind of this bright explosion of flavors. When I got back home, I immediately wished I could be back in Thailand.
Or maybe it just say, screw it, and have a good time.
It's quite beautiful. Please, thank you so much.
Om Namo 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 Sangayo Namo Brasam Namo Ramasam Namo Sangasana Namo Brasana Braisa Savarai Namo Bravina Kariya Muni Maran Barita Samatote Samrina Kariya Muni Morita 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 Samatote Samrina Sata Heaven Jabukan Jevan Mika Sata Heaven Jabukan Jevan Mika Sata Heaven Jabukan Jevan Mika Sata Heaven Jabukan Jevan Mika
เอาสักบาทแม่บอกเอาสักบาทไม่เอาไปด้วยกันเลย
ชอบไปที่อเมริกานะ
แล้วอ้าวแบบไปละให้เหลืออีกกลับบ้านเถอะให้เหลือ
Mexico is a country where every day people fight to live. All too often, they lose that battle. A magnificent, heartbreakingly beautiful country with music and food and a uniquely Mexican, darkly funny, deeply felt worldview. Right down there, cuddled up beneath us, our brother from another mother.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
Holy Mother of Santa Muerte, please protect my stash of cocaine. Let it not be interfered with by the cops or the competition. Let any who would mess with me be killed. My enemies destroyed. Please forgive us our sins, for they are many. So, is business good? I mean, are there more murders, particularly narco murders?
Va en ascenso, va en aumento. La gente opta o por poner un comercio o por vender droga, porque la droga te reditúa dinero muy rápido, ¿no? Entonces, va a haber y va a ir incrementando, ¿no?, la cantidad de muertes relacionadas con esto.
Every day, Mexico wakes up to count the dead. They are, after all, left out to be seen. Often with a helpful note, identifying who done what, and generally speaking, why. There is a language to the never-ending violence, a coded message in the twists and marks of the bodies. And Valente Rosas is one of the many documenting them for the press. This is what he does every night. Rides around waiting for a phone call or a radio message telling him that there's another one. So, who's buying drugs? Who's selling drugs to who?
Antes se importaba gran cantidad se llevaba gran cantidad de droga a Estados Unidos, pero ya hay tanto consumo nacional que ya también una parte importante de esa droga se queda en México. Pero bueno, a diferencia de Estados Unidos, todavía estamos bien, por llamarle así, ¿no? Ya ves que en Estados Unidos, hay cada loco que se agarra a matar gente y cosas así, está grueso, ¿no?
Here you kill each other for a reason. It's business?
Sí.
More Mexican civilians have been killed since 2006 than all the American military lost in 10 years of the Vietnam War and 8 years of wars in Iraq. So what do you do if you're one of these cops? You're driving around one night, you see some guy outside of a bar beating somebody or disturbing the peace. You start to arrest him, and he's got a diamond-studded pistol, it's got his name on it. Now you realize you just arrested somebody with serious, powerful connections. What do?
Pues lo dejan libre, ¿no?
You let him go?
Sí.
Why do they always pull their pants down?
Es como el bajarle el pantalón a una.
Our local fixer, Alex, is here to translate.
In this case, he thinks that they pull the pants down, so check for weapons.
They're loading him into the sheet.
This is the CSI team. So when they were pulling his pants off, money and jewelry started falling from the pockets. Basically, they took the money out of his pockets, and that was the only available spot.
To show that they didn't take anything.
Yeah, exactly. So this is also a drug dealer. The thing here in Mexico is as soon as someone is killed, normally they get candles just right next to it. Sometimes Santa Muerte is related to drug dealings and criminals.
How long have you been doing this?
About 9 years.
How many bodies do you think?
No lo sé.
Hundreds?
Sí, quizá.
How do you push them out of your mind when you're not working?
Lo hace uno como un trabajo. Simplemente
A lot of people ask him about this, but he said like it's a job, not like any other kind of job. But as soon as he gets home, he just take this cover off and just keep living.
Well, that's a terrible picture. Just that's sad. What happened here?
Esta elefanta pertenecía
There was
al
an
circo.
elephant called Hilda.
Se escapó.
She ran away from a circus, so she basically was crossing the highway and a big bus just ran over it.
The world we live in now, of all of these pictures, this is the one that would get people most upset. You'd get the most mail, the most, oh my God, you know, what kind of a world do we live in?
Pero esta foto.
This was probably the most viewed picture from different media around the world.
80,000 Mexicans have died in the last, 7 years in narco violence?
And this is the most important picture.
As our crew gets ready to crawl back to our hotel, Valente gets the call we thought we'd been waiting for. One dead male, shot in head. A note pinned to his chest.
No tiene mucha señal esta madre.
In Mexico, people fight to live every day. One man stands alone, facing another man. His intent, to beat his opponent with his fists until he can resist no more. A match, yes, but more accurately, a fight. Jorge La Sierva is a former bantamweight title holder. With his father, Jorge Sr., and his son Alexis, he trains aspiring fighters in this gym in the Santa Anita neighborhood of Mexico City. He knows that these young men, like generations of boxers everywhere from other neighborhoods like this, are looking for a way out.
In Mexico City, boxing is kind of like save your life. You know what I mean? Boxing, they give you like a little discipline.
Let's say you're good, but you're not that good. Can you make a living just being a contender?
No, but a lot of fighters, they try to make it. Tons of boxers, they want to be a champion.
So everybody wants to be a champion?
Everybody. Everybody wants to get for the big shot, but you know, it's just one.
Those are bad odds. The history of boxing is not kind. I mean, most managers and promoters, they don't really give a shit about the fighters.
They don't.
They use them up, but at the end they leave a guy all broken down, no money, and scrambles brains.
We just like a prostitutes. You know what I mean?
In this area, what are your options if you drop out of high school?
Nothing. It's just like being on the street, snatching, you know, robbing, and a lot of kids in the hood, they're gonna say, hey, let's go kidnap that guy.
Big industry.
Everybody here now wants to be a soccer player or a boxer because they make money here.
Who's got a longer career, a narco or a boxer?
I don't know. Might be 50-50. I mean, narco, you can last longer.
You can.
You know, you're protected by the police. You just paid off. Nobody's gonna touch you.
Expensive protein shakes and dietary supplements? Not so much. Boxers here eat what they can afford.
The food here is good and it's cheap. You know, in Mexico, there's no middle class here.
You're either poor or you're really, really rich.
I mean, it's a crazy thing. The minimum wage here is like 50, 60 pesos, which is like a $5. Not an hour, a day.
But on the other hand, that's why Mexican fighters are so exciting. They're hungry.
Exactly. We're hungry.
Y México 72, en vivo.
Tepito is a city within a city, its own thing, either the dark center or the beating heart of Mexico City, depending on your point of view. It's the home of Santa Muerte, the skeletal Saint Death. This is where they come. The impoverished, the oppressed, the marginalized, the criminal. People for whom the traditional church has less relevancy. For the unforgiven and the unforgivable. For those on whom the Catholic saints have turned their backs, there is Santa Muerte. This is a place, and Santa Muerte is a saint that accepts everybody. Death to my enemies written on a votive candle. Let's face it, we've all prayed for that at one point or another. Tepito is a poor neighborhood for sure, and a tough one. A center of commerce, both above board and not.
¡Esos que están filmando! ¡De Tepito!
But perhaps a breakfast beverage first. A michelada. One giant beer with lemon, chili powder, salt, and Maggi sauce.
It's a sizable morning beverage.
My companion, blogger, and chronicler of the city, Jorge Pedro.
Wow, a whole season of The Walking Dead for 25 cents.
You want to buy something? Tepito's got it. Looking for some cheap underwear? Pirated copies of Man vs. Food seasons 1 through 5? This is where you find them.
So this all seems very wholesome. I mean, you know, where could I buy a gun, some heroin, and a prostitute? I was looking forward to that.
Let's say that Tepito has many layers.
Right.
And we are in the surface.
Okay.
We are among movies, clothing, families. But I don't think it's as easy as to be candid to ask, where can I get a gun? Probably they will kill you if you ask that. You know San Juditas? San Juditas, no?
Patron saint of
hopeless cases.
Ah, lost causes.
It's become very popular in the last years.
A lot of good smells here, man. Yeah, a lot of good-looking food.
My happy place is somewhere in here. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, we already hear migas.
Beautiful.
La güera.
Wherever there's bones and guts simmering in broth, chances are I'll be happy. Writer, sociologist, and lifelong resident of Tepito, Alfonso Hernandez apparently feels the same way.
So this is supposed to be a bad neighborhood. This is the best. I love this neighborhood.
¿Se da cuenta que no?
Bueno, tiene fama de ser el barrio de las almas.
It is known for being the Lost Souls neighborhood. It is called Ángeles neighborhood, like angels being there. But in Tepito, there are no angels, but lost souls.
What's the saying?
Comer bien.
Eat well.
Coger fuerte. Enseñarle los huevos al amor.
And showing los huevos to the death.
Show your balls to the devil or to the
death?
On the menu, migas. The base comes from boiling cracked ham bones to release the marrow, to which garlic, onion, cascabel peppers, and epazote is added. Thickened with stale bread and leftover tortillas.
You got nothing, you make something really awesome out of nothing.
The grandmothers had the creativity to taking advantage of the bones of the pigs, and now it's a gourmet dish.
Any great old culture where there's poverty, there's something like this. Yeah, by the way, if you're watching this, after you do this, you really got to wash your hands before you touch your dick. Okay? That's a rookie mistake, going to take a piss right after.
She's asking you if you liked the migas, if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good. Delicious. So these guys have been open for 65 years.
All the members of the crew are relative.
Is there hope for social change in this country?
Lamentablemente.
Unfortunately, Mexico has become the Tepito of the world. Tepito is still the synthesis of the Mexican.
Not a lot of upward mobility here. the rich get richer, the poor get ground slowly under the wheel. Eduardo Garcia has hacked his way up the ladder to become chef, owner of the city's hottest restaurant.
I grew up in the States. I was a migrant worker picking fruits and vegetables as a kid. My parents didn't earn a lot of money, so I decided to work rather than go to school.
The restaurant business, as I well know, ain't no picnic. And in Mexico City, it's particularly rough.
Mexico has a reputation where we all know that the country is run by corrupt politics. You have to stand up for what you believe. If you don't, people will run you over. You won't last a minute. I don't let people bully me around.
Garcia runs Maximo Bistro with his wife, Gabriela. Here's the kind of extra helping of crap you gotta deal with if you run the hottest restaurant in Mexico City. In 2013, the spoiled daughter of the head of Mexico's Consumer Protection Agency walks in and demands a table when there's, unsurprisingly, no table available. When Garcia says, sorry, no can do, she pulls a you know who I am and then calls daddy and gets the health inspectors in to shut the place down. So your other customers basically started taking pictures of them with their cell phones?
Next thing you know, we have the media outside, and this is Friday.
Right.
Sunday morning, we're front page of one of the most important newspapers in Mexico.
Well, it was very embarrassing to the government.
And it should be.
Because they got caught doing what they do all the time. But if you were not the hottest restaurant in town, if you were just running a cantina, you know, a few blocks away,
I would have been.
They would have closed you down, and that's that. Right now, a defiant, young, creative generation of Mexican chefs like Eduardo are performing some of the most exciting new cooking anywhere on earth. A mixing of the very old and traditional with the very new. So you worked at Le Bourdain?
As a kid, yes. Right. One of the jokes throughout the whole time that I worked is, how old are you? I'm 18. You've been 18 for 3 years. Those are abalone from Baja. Yeah, I told you I love butter. I use it even for some Mexican dishes, and then just some roasted chile serrano just to give it a nice little kick for me.
They're finished with lemon and, of course, brown butter. Beautiful. Mmm. Very delicious. Very Mexican, very French. Brown butter, it's awesome. Makes everything better.
Of course. I think the most important thing about Mexican cuisine in general, if it's traditional, it's the ingredients.
Confit of suckling pig topped with grandma's salsa, an instant classic.
How about it? No, you do it like the Mexican way. Pick it up and go.
Wow, pretty hard to imagine anything better than that. Yeah, you're stuck with this dish forever, man.
Forever.
And I'm gonna be like Mick Jagger, you know, 50 years from now, singing Satisfaction. There's no getting away from it, man. This is so good. This is a classic. But even now, with all his success, Garcia is still fighting a struggle most Mexicans are all too familiar with.
What happened that day happens every day. And the promise always is, we're gonna shut you down, you don't know who I am. And for me, I'd rather close my restaurant than live like that. If you close my restaurant, I will go across the street, I will go to another state, or I will go to another country, and I still will make a good restaurant.
Under former President Felipe Calderón, Mexico launched a concerted war on drugs, ostensibly against the notorious and seemingly untouchable cartels. Absolutely no one can say with any credibility, by the way, that Mexico's war, or our trillion-dollar war,
just say no,
has had any effect in diminishing the flow of drugs into our country. One very brave journalist has uncovered exactly how deep the rot of corruption and dirty money has penetrated into every level of Mexican institutions.
My grandmother is from Oaxaca, so how we used to drink the mezcal is never with lemon, it's with orange.
It was not what a lot of people wanted to hear, much less see published. Today, Anabel Hernandez, author of the groundbreaking expose Los Señores del Narco, lives under guard in a secret location. The threat, very, very real and very explicit.
Do you think there was ever a minute when the Calderon war on drugs,
Yeah.
was it ever genuine?
No, who really started the war against the drug cartels was Vicente Fox. Felipe Calderon just followed that instruction, but he didn't really do anything new. He just did it worse. Since the beginning, the plan of the government was protect the Sinaloa cartel and fight against the enemies of the Sinaloa cartel.
Of the 7 major Mexican cartels, the Sinaloa cartel is considered the most powerful, with the farthest reaching and most pervasive tentacles extending deep into every corner of government, banking, and private industry. Its rivals, the Tijuana cartel, the Gulf cartel, the Juarez cartel, the Beltran-Leyva, La Familia Michoacana, and the particularly murderous Los Zetas. The cartels are responsible for importing roughly 3/4 of all illegal narcotics to America.
In your work, you've uncovered what had to be some very embarrassing and incriminating associations and connections between very high elected officials, the presidents, and entire administrations, and acts of incredible criminality. How did that change your life?
Well, when I started to make this investigation on 2005, and I really understand that it will be very dangerous, I have to say that it wasn't really a surprise for me what happened after I published my book. What I didn't expect is that the threats came from the federal government.
Anabel says that one of her sources warned her that the biggest threat was from within, that one of the most highly placed, most senior law enforcement officials in Mexico had ordered her killed.
Because in my book, I put his name and also show some documents that proves that he was involved. He was in the payroll of the Sinaloa cartel.
What happened to this man?
Right now, he's very happy, drinking rum, I think, building many enterprises, fake enterprises, laundry, his money.
To me, the weak link are the bankers. A banker who launders money. He's got a family, he's got a reputation, he gives money to charity, his neighbors think he's great, his kids think he's wonderful. He's got something to lose. So I wouldn't be prosecuting drug dealers, I'd be prosecuting bankers.
The name of my book is Los Señores del Narco, because Los Señores del Narco are not only El Chapo Guzmán and the leaders of these cartels, no! Los Señores del Narco are also these, the politicians and bankers and the businessmen. The people have to know who are these people, name by name.
You've been a journalist for how long? Since
20 years.
20 years. Your father was kidnapped and killed in 2000?
My father was a businessman. In that year, many gangs used to kidnap the businessman just for money. So when we went to the police and asked them to investigate, they said, well, if you pay us, we will make the investigation. So as family, we decide to pay because you cannot buy the justice. Since that, I really try to fight against corruption. That's why I'm doing what I do. Because I think that corruption is the worst problem in Mexico. The drug cartels are maybe the worst face of that problem, but the problem in the deep is the corruption. The corruption is the mother of all our problems in Mexico.
It should be pointed out that 88 journalists, how many journalists have been killed in this country?
90 now.
90 journalists now have been killed or disappeared over the last few years.
Yeah.
Here,
you could kill a journalist and get away with it. Why are you still here?
I have lost many things in my life. My father was the most important person in my life. I already lost everything. I don't have any life anymore. I don't have a social life. I don't have a sentimental life. I don't have anything. I just have my work and my family. And my work of journalist is everything for me. I really believe that good journalists can change the world. I have received many offers to go outside to France, to Sweden, and other countries. I don't want to leave. It's my choice. My choice is fight.
I came to Oaxaca for mezcal. I like mezcal. More and more these days. And this guy, Ron Cooper, finds and sells some of the best mezcal in the world. We're at the Zapotec ruins of Monte Alban.
In pre-conquest Mexico, there were gods and goddesses of intoxication and ecstasy. The touch of a lover, the smell of a flower, the aha of an idea, all had gods and goddesses that took responsibility for those things.
All of your mezcals come from different villages, and
Yes.
only that village.
And only one maker in that village. We call our stuff single village mezcal because most mezcals are made with a blend of different villages all put together. No one goes home and has a cocktail in these Indian villages. They wait until there's a special occasion. Every birth, death, confirmation, baptism, there's a fiesta. A wedding is 8 days. You invite 200 people. You feed them breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You have a band every day. And then they really consume. Don't drink yet. For Mother Earth and our ancestors. And then you say Stijibeo.
Stijibeo. That's extraordinary. Back in the day, it was cheap stuff with a worm in it, and there were rumors that if you ate the worm, you'd start tripping, that there was a hallucinogenic component to mezcal. Now, is there a particular kind of a high? Is this an enlightening high? Is this a good high?
The high is humorous. You have these funny thoughts dancing around the back of your head.
Happy, witty drum.
Yes.
In Oaxaca, ancient indigenous traditions and ingredients define not only the mezcal, but also the food.
One of the main reasons people visit our city is to eat.
This is Alejandro Ruiz Olmedo, one of Mexico's best chefs. He started cooking young. When he was 12, his mother died, and it fell on him to raise and feed his 5 siblings.
But this is what we call tasajo.
Today, he draws much of his inspiration from Oaxaca's central market. Probably America's most beloved food is what they think is Mexican food.
Yes.
And I think most Americans' view of Mexican food is like beans, fried tortilla, melted cheese, and some chicken.
Yes.
In fact, and particularly when we're talking about Oaxaca, this is a deep, really sophisticated cuisine.
That's correct. Oaxaca has these different microclimates all over our territory, and that gives us this enormous amount of spices, products, fruit, chilies.
Like 500,000 varieties of corn, something like
Yes,
that.
correct.
Right? I mean, this is really where the good shit grows.
Ya estamos aquí. This is stands of barbacoa, and this lady here, it's always making like the best.
Tender.
Yes, tender, tasty.
Man. Greens and crunch.
Cabbage. and cilantro. Buen provecho.
Oh, unbelievably good. Just so tasty.
And they're gonna give us some consomme.
Man, deep. It's good. All right, I'll finish this. This is just too damn good.
People have this barbecue, especially on Sundays. It's a tradition to have barbacoa.
Just so tasty.
All this pasillo is full of chiles, no? People think that Mexican food has to be necessarily spicy because of the chiles we use. And we go for flavors, not for the spiciness.
What most people miss is how really deep and really sophisticated the sauces here can be. Like Lyon is to France.
Yes.
Oaxaca is to Mexico in my experience.
You're right.
You know?
Also,
Really-
from my experience.
Yeah. I'm not kissing your ass here. I was just in Lyon.
This is Vicky's place. She's been cooking up traditional Oaxacan dishes in the market for 30 years.
Whoa, that's awesome. When he's cooking the egg right on the camal. Oh, man. So the guy working the camal, first of all, a lot of the camal you see now are metal. That's old school, super old school. That's the way they did back in Zapotec times, man.
Yes, correct.
On the clay camal.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm looking up there, he's doing our tortillas.
Yes.
And he's doing, it's one of my favorite things, the zucchini flowers with the string cheese. Oh, that's so pretty to see.
Olmedo's cooking, his focus, his passion have very old, very deep roots.
My parents were farmers in a small village like mine. Since you are 6, 8, 7, you have a role to develop in the family.
Right.
So my role was to water the chile plantation, the tomato plantation, to milk the cows, and help my mom while she was making tortillas like that. She would give me directions and telling me, okay, roast the chiles, roast the tomatoes. I tell you how to prepare molcajete salsa. So that was at the beginning of my profession,
Right.
cooking, learning from the knowledge of how a tomato should taste like when you cut it directly from the plant.
The way it should taste.
That's
old
right.
school. Oh, man. Happy.
This is what you should do. Try the egg first, like
All
this.
right. Or just grab a hunk.
Yes. And then put salsa.
Yeah. I haven't been anywhere in Mexico where the cooking is better than here.
This is a way to preserve our culture through our food.
The quiet little town of Teotitlan del Valle is about 15 miles outside of Oaxaca. A town where the arts, crafts, and traditions of the pre-Hispanic Mexico are celebrated and packaged for consumption. Abigail Mendoza and her sister Rufina are Zapotecan, original people from Mexico before the Spanish, before the Aztecs. This is her restaurant, where Abigail has been grinding corn by hand, making masa and moles like this, the ridiculously faithful, time-consuming, difficult, traditional way she was taught to make these things, and the way she's been making them since she was 6 years old. Look at her hands, by the way. Small, surprisingly delicate, given all the hard work, all the pushing, kneading, grinding, stone against stone over the years. Then look at her forearms, the power there. It's impressive and beautiful.
Every time you enter a house in Oaxaca, especially in the small villages, they always offer you a shot of mezcal.
So good.
Següesa, a mole and chicken dish. This mole sauce, like a lot of the real old-school moles made by masters like Abigail, uses 35 different types of chile peppers and takes more than 2 weeks to make.
Do you think that until recently, until guys like you, that Mexicans were not looking back at their own food culture, they were looking elsewhere? What was going on?
We were conquered. We were also a culture that was conquered first by the Aztecs, and then we were conquered by the Spaniards. So we were always told that everything that was good and excellent has to be imported.
Right.
And what we had here, it was just not good.
Right. Another Zapotecan classic, chile agua, a simpler dish of cow and pork brains cooked with chilies, tomatoes, and yerba santa.
As a cook, the main thing I learned was to develop a little bit my cuisine here. There was this space where nobody tried to innovate. Still using the same techniques, the same ingredients, the same flavors, herbs, etc. But, developing a little bit. Muchas gracias. Muy amable, gracias.
También muy prehispánico.
I mean, that's as old school as it gets. This is super ancient.
A finer dish than this one you cannot have. This is something that you do not find anywhere else in Mexico.
A quiet night in the Zócalo, the central square of Oaxaca. But even tonight, there's plenty of evidence of the struggle, the discontent boiling just under the surface. The graffiti and painting of this street artist, who goes by the name Yesca, captures that spirit of Oaxacan protest. The Last Supper, for sure.
It's a Last Supper, but Mexican Last Supper.
Who are these people?
It's the most powerful people in Mexico, people that is driving Mexico. This is Peña Nieto, the president right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is Felipe Calderón,
Right.
the last president.
The last president.
And that guy is like the economy guy,
Right.
who is moving the economy in
Mhm.
Mexico. And this is the army. This is a prostitute. It's represent because they are like prostitutes.
Right.
You know?
And
In middle, is
Jesus.
the narco traffic.
The middle.
Yeah, he's like the god in Mexico, because he is like over.
All of it.
Yeah,
So this is the way Mexico works.
yeah. For me, the most problem in Mexico is the corruption.
Mexico can be a dangerous place for journalists, for politicians, for police. Is it a dangerous place for artists?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because if you not agree with the government, you are like enemy.
In 1936, the town of Cuernavaca, 50 miles from Mexico City, was visited by Malcolm Lowry, a tormented, self-loathing, brilliant, and hopelessly alcoholic author. His life work, Under the Volcano, was set here. It is widely believed to be one of the great novels of the 20th century. Lowry saw symbolism and evil everywhere here. In the deep barrancas, the looming volcano that towered overhead. Writer, poet Javier Cecilia, one of Cuernavaca's most celebrated residents, has reason to see evil too. On March 28, 2011, narcos kidnapped and murdered his son, Juan Francisco, and 6 other equally blameless innocent victims. Cecilia found himself moved to march to Mexico City to demand an end to the increasingly futile so-called war on drugs that was mindlessly grinding up so many victims in the crossfire and in the margins. In Under the Volcano, the evil that's coming is fascism, Nazism. What is the heart of the infernal machine today?
una nueva forma del totalitarismo, que es el dinero y la disputa de los territorios para controlar el dinero, tanto por parte del Estado como por parte del crimen organizado, que casi son lo mismo en mi país.
What does he want to say? What does he want people to hear?
¿Qué es lo que quieres que la gente oiga?
Necesitamos detener esta guerra. Es una guerra que nos está matando hijos, hijas, que nos está haciendo perder la democracia, que tiene al país balcanizado y roto, que necesitamos encontrar la paz y la justicia que no tiene este país.
Can he think of one place on earth where the good guys are winning and where you are not ground under the wheels of the machine?
Donde la gente pone por encima la vida humana y la relacionalidad amorosa, ahí está una sociedad, ahí está en el centro del horror, la vida y la paz. Donde hay unos seres que se niegan a aceptar la muerte, se niegan a aceptar que se sigan matando, que sigan arrojando cuerpos en las calles decapitados, donde hay una sociedad que puede decir, está el ser humano por encima de cualquier cosa, ahí está la vida, ahí hay un buen lugar.
Have you written a poem since the death of your son?
No, escribí un último poema cuando supe del asesinato de Juan Francisco, de mi hijo, y con ese cerré mi actividad como poeta que escribe poemas.
As I have come to know in my own life, drugs, even drug addiction, can be a survivable event. Death is not. Death is final. Spotless, efficient, safe, protected, controlled. A utopian city-state run like a multinational company. Welcome to Singapore Incorporated.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
Singapore. One could be forgiven for thinking it's a giant, ultra-modern shopping mall. An interconnected, fully wired, air-conditioned nanny state, where everything is beautiful and nothing hurts. And those things are kind of true, especially if you read the papers or the carefully monitored internet. You look around the litterless streets where everything seems to work just fine, and you think, or you could be forgiven for thinking, gee, maybe a one-party system is just what we need. You look at all the social problems and ethnic strife, street crime, drugs that Singapore has managed to avoid, and you could think, is this the life we want? It ain't my system, it's not the world I want, but damn, it has its appeal.
Hi, this is Singapore. You like it?
Jam-packed in between the carefully feng shuied architecture, the skyscrapers and office blocks are rich, deep, very old, and deliciously funky remnants of the old world. Chinese, Indian, Malay, and a culture that still cherishes the joys of a simple, good thing.
A lot of national foods you can get in Singapore.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is, in Malay, I think you don't know, we call it mee goreng.
That's your favorite Malay dish. What's your favorite Chinese dish?
Chinese Hokkien mee.
Hokkien mee?
Hokkien mee. Sometimes chicken rice.
Chicken, of course.
Yes.
And how about favorite Indian dish?
Definitely nasi biryani. You know that?
The biryani.
Yeah, biryani rice. You got it.
Oh, Sungay Road, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's the best laksa is on Sungay Road. It's funny, I recognize every place here by food.
Tony, how are you?
Looking good.
My brother. So what blows you back to Singapore, man?
You know I come here. I come here to eat.
I live here to eat too.
I come here mostly to eat, because that's what they do here. And they arguably do it better with more diverse, affordable food options per square foot than just about anywhere on Earth. My godfather and mentor for Singaporean street food has always been and remains KF Sito, the guru behind the Makan Sutra food guides and an advocate for the kind of democratic, affordable, casual chaos of the hawker world.
This is the dry one.
Thank you.
Thank you, enjoy.
Thank you. Okay, so wet and dry.
Wet and dry. When the heat gets to you, a bit of broth.
545 Huampo prawn noodles for prawn mee seemed a good place to start.
We are here because Ray found this girl who served us. She's one of the new heroes, the new generation heroes that's out to protect and preserve our food culture. You know, I've been talking about continuity for the longest time.
I mean, I know you want to see traditional recipes and preparations preserved.
I'm here to preserve what's traditional, what's progressive. Progressive heritage food has a space. But if you are too creative with your stuff, you start putting truffle oil and this kind of stuff.
Well, that's wrong, always.
Creativity is not a flavor, Tony.
Most hawker stalls are family-run operations, and Huampo is no exception. What's unusual is that Li Rufong left her white-collar job to work alongside her parents, bucking a trend that has left the hawker centers with an aging workforce, unable to replenish generations of expertise with new blood.
If you look around, Tony, you look at all the hawkers, more than 70%, 80% of them are 50 and above. So the tipping point will come where everybody just give up their stall because their children have gone to university. They have told them, yeah, go be a doctor, lawyer, go be something else other than hawker.
But the Singaporean government wants to build more stalls, more, better, modern.
20 more hawker centers like this.
20 more hawker centers?
Which I said, where the hell are the hawkers coming from?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Where are they going to come from?
There's a lot of insinuations of an answer, but no true answer.
I mean, the answer is not from Singapore, right? They're going to have to come in from China.
For the 15,000 or 20,000 food stalls like this we have in Singapore, if it's public run like this, you can't hire foreigners. It's meant for Singaporeans.
But isn't the beginning of all of this was people from China, India?
That's what I keep saying. Our food came from the rest of the world. Yeah, we had nothing. And in that tradition, I say, we must continue.
Up for rent, cooked food stall. No, we should do a pop-up. Get my apron.
Stamford Raffles arrived in Singapore in 1819 with the British East India Company, establishing it first as a trading post for the British Empire. Soon thereafter, Singapore grew, quickly becoming an economic hub and regional capital for the British Empire's new colony on the Malay Peninsula. After World War II, Singapore clamored for independence, first becoming a part of the Malaysian Federation, then a fully independent state in 1965. Helmed by its first Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew, tiny Singapore famously went from a third world outpost to a first world nation in a single generation.
In Singapore, rules and regulations in Singapore is very strict. We have to follow them. Like I'm driving taxi, I can't break any law.
So the camera catches?
Yeah, everything is in camera. So it's very important to everyone. We have to follow the rules and regulations. That's the reason Singapore is very good. Same time, Singaporeans are very hardworking persons. As human beings, what we need, food to eat, clothes to wear, place to sleep. You can get it in Singapore. So, in other words, we have to continue work, you see. We work and we'll get something. Once lazy, we are out.
By some measure, Singapore is a welfare state, taking care of the less fortunate. But at its heart, it's a cold-blooded meritocracy. You follow the rules, and there are many, work hard, and you'll have a good life. That's the message.
We are starting to define the definition of success. I think before we are very clear with the 5 C's: car, condominium, a credit card, cash, and career.
Wow, that sounds fucking awful, dude.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I grew up in that idea.
That's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds kind of depressing.
I know, but that's the past, I think.
The Muslim Quarter, just following afternoon prayers. I'm here with Najib Ali, a Singaporean Malay entertainer and producer.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, looking good.
This is it.
So this is a
lontong,
and this
is mee siam.
Oh. We're having wonton, rice cake, coconut gravy, vegetables, and a hard-boiled egg. And mee siam, fried rice noodles with chili paste, prawns, bean sprouts, and a spicy sweet and sour gravy, fried bean curd, and an egg. They're delicious. I mean, we like to make fun of Singapore in the West and call it Disneyland with the death penalty. And we're skeptical, of course, of one-party rule. We're skeptical of constraints on freedom of the press or the things you can't do.
Yeah, you can't, yeah.
Do you think that young creative Singaporeans feel those constraints and suffer from them?
I think some of them who travel knows better. Most of them are over-educated and underexposed, meaning they are very little experience in what they know. And I think that's what we're lacking. They're looking for things to do. And the problem with this is always that we're living in a small country and we have nowhere to go, and where do we experience this thing? If you're in New York and you don't like the city life, you say, shit, I'm not gonna...
You can say shit on the show.
I'm gonna take this.
I think we have 2 more on this hour.
I'm gonna get out of the city. So you go to Minnesota, you go to Texas, you take time to think about. And even in Malaysia, when you are in Kuala Lumpur and you go to Terengganu, you go to Kelantan, we have nowhere to go.
Not only is Singapore a small city-state, a little more than half the size of LA, but there's also a pressure of a kind from a big brother government who's always watching, however benevolently one might think.
Every day, as an entertainer, as a producer-director, we are reminded what not to do. Don't insult other races, don't insult other religion. There are some parameters that we always need to see. But I think as a creative person, I think we are always trying to work out. And I think that's challenging for us. And again, most of the things that I do on television is funded by the government. So, so what?
You're biting the hand that feeds you.
But our job is basically as entertainers here just to purely entertain. And we know there are lines that we can't cross. Religion, our ancestors, our parents, things like that. So it's...
You can't make fun of your parents in comedy?
If your own parent is okay.
How about family member?
But I give high marks when they can give you a twist to a story of a mother-in-law.
Right. A mother-in-law is okay.
Your mother-in-law is okay.
Why does a mother-in-law always get the
I don't know.
So on the basic level, Singapore works in so many ways. Security, your family, education.
Housing.
So in a way, you're kind of numbed into thinking that, everything's wonderful. And then you start to wonder after a while, is there another way of life? I think that's the big kind of Singapore dilemma in a way.
So is there angst?
Yeah, certainly there's angst.
But I think there's no outlet for it. So everybody's, going online. And everybody likes to be anonymous about it.
Even online, they have paid the price for it. People have been let go of their jobs, and that's the price that we have to pay.
The price may seem pretty high by American standards. No political dissent, no right to assembly, a restricted press, and limited freedom of speech. Sadir Varaket, Melanie Chan, and Tanya Angara, all Singaporeans, all navigating the rules and regs, both spoken and unspoken, that go along with prosperity, security, safety. Lure 29 in Geylang for fried oyster omelets and fried prawns with chili paste. Bak chor mee, fishball noodle soup, and beef satay.
I think one of the issues is that we're kind of a victim of our own success in many ways. We've grown so fast, and I guess expectations among the liberals and progressives have just gone so far ahead, including myself. So sometimes, we need a reality check about what pace society can move at. So I think that's the tension. It's that economic growth has happened so quickly, and sometimes social mores, social customs might take a bit more time.
A place where everything works this well, and a system so seemingly different than the one we are taught to venerate. But that's genuinely confusing. So what's the best thing about Singapore, and what's the worst thing about Singapore?
I think best things are tolerance and efficiency. But if you just look around us right now, right, there's like a mosque over there, there's a Buddhist temple over there, there are like a bunch of brothels over there, prostitutes walking the street legally, they're regulated by the government, and everybody has kind of accepted this quid pro quo situation. And it somehow works.
Okay, you were shaking your head though on something you were saying.
No, I agree, but to be feeling so secure and the security of it all, I think that's priceless, It's like, I'll do what I have to do to be able to afford to live well here. I'll work hard, I'll tolerate, and, and even then, it's not that bad. When it comes to me voicing certain things, which maybe the government doesn't agree with, I feel I have outlets that don't have to be public, right?
Okay.
And I'm okay with that.
You talk about feeling safe.
Yeah,
as a woman.
security.
Do you feel respected?
Definitely. I do.
Do you feel that there's parity for women and you are paid and treated as well as men?
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
Yes. You know why? I think that's because of maids.
What are maids?
Maids, as in helpers.
Maids.
Helpers.
I think you'll find, actually, if you look at Singapore, a lot of women are in the workforce. And the reason why that is so is because everybody's got a maid looking after their child at home. So maids are kind of like the opiate of the masses. That's what
But an opiate keeps you slothful and laying home on the couch.
Exactly.
But if you have a maid, you're saying it frees you up to join the workforce.
Frees you up, but it also means that my husband now, he doesn't know how to serve himself water.
Yeah.
He goes, water, like that.
Laundry?
Sorry?
Gonna do laundry?
No.
Lawn what?
Really?
No.
Does anyone here know how to do laundry?
We know how to
kind
do
of,
it.
in theory.
No,
We haven't
the
done
guys
it.
do because we did 2 years of military service.
Right.
But the girls are pampered.
Oh, please.
When's the last time you did laundry? When's the last time you did?
My maid was all
4 days ago.
4 days ago?
Yeah? What,
I
you sent it
enjoy.
to the butler?
No. I enjoy doing laundry.
Yeah?
I live by myself in New York.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, maybe it's a sickness, maybe it's a weird thing. I enjoy throwing my clothes into the washer and then moving them to the dryer. It's a process that makes me feel very satisfied with myself.
Therapeutic.
No. I feel very self-reliant. You know, listening to you people, I gotta tell you, I wanna like go out and join the Communist Party. It's like bourgeois, man. You're living off the labor of an oppressed underclass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start my own cell. I'm just fucking with you.
For a state where an ounce of weed can put you in the jug for up to 10 years, and the same weight of dope can mean death, where chewing gum is indeed illegal, a surprising number of vices are allowed here. Drinking age is 18. Prostitution is legal, with sex workers getting regular medical checkups. There are casinos and strip clubs. The government seems to understand that, along with a certain amount of repression, safety valves are required. Get drunk, get laid, and you are less likely to be difficult. Perhaps that's the thinking. Or maybe it's just business. To many, Singapore is the land of opportunity. People from all over the world come here to get a good job, to find a better life.
As an overseas Chinese, we have been discriminated in Laos, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, in America, Australia, all over the world. Suddenly you got this guy called Lee Kuan Yew. There's nowhere else in the Chinese world have a real leader as big as Lee Kuan Yew.
Much of Singapore's success is often credited to its first prime minister, Lee Kuan Yew, a Singaporean of Chinese descent, considered the founding father of modern Singapore. Reigning pretty much unopposed for 30 years, he's responsible for much of the social engineering that holds Singapore together, as well as the favorable economic policies that have allowed it to thrive. Michael Ma arrived in Singapore to take advantage of its business climate, becoming an early pioneer of Singapore's now famous nightlife.
Back then, in the very beginning, was it a favorable business climate in the sense that, did they look upon your early efforts generously or kindly, or were they, I'm not so sure about this guy. I mean, how was it? It was a favorable from the beginning.
No, Singapore's fantastic.
And what time did bars close?
2 o'clock. That's where the opportunity I saw. You know, you cannot run this economy hopping on one leg. Like, you got the right law, the right safety, everything's right. But the social part was not right.
Right.
2 o'clock, you're managing a teenager. 2 o'clock, guys, go to bed.
And so when did it change and why?
I started my bars and restaurant in 99, yeah?
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister of Singapore at that time went, what is Singapore doing? 2005, 10, 20, 30, 50. This is before all this.
Right.
I suggest partying all night type of thing.
Welcome, Singapore. Come enjoy with us.
I'm not very smart, so the only way that got me through university is just to throw a lot of parties. You know, I was good at throwing parties, but now I get paid to do it, which is even better.
One-fifth of the world's shipping containers move through the port of Singapore. It is the busiest transshipment point on the planet. Singapore has fully embraced globalization, and that's proved, in their case, very rewarding.
Singapore is an outsized economic importance, primarily because it's so attractive to foreign entrepreneurs, primarily in the form of multinational corporations. So right from the start, the economic strategy was always to attract foreign capital.
Donald Lowe is an economist who spent over 10 years researching and writing about Singapore's unique financial policies.
You know, this place is almost contrary to the founders' original expectations. This place works. I mean, this multi-ethnic, meritocratic ideal, this pragmatic streak, this understanding that free trade is good for everyone. This place is, after 50 years, it's deeply imprinted in Singaporeans. It's remarkable how open and welcoming of diversity Singapore still is.
We are now living in times where globalism and globalization are bad words.
Yeah, I know.
We're seeing a rise of
populism,
of nationalism.
Which is why, you know, I'm worried about and concerned about Singapore's future. This is a place that has been a main beneficiary of globalization. And as the world turns against globalization, as the world becomes more inward-looking, as countries in Europe and the US becomes more concerned about protecting their own borders, literally in the case of the US, there is a high probability that Singapore will not thrive in such a world.
A lot of social engineering has been superimposed to hold that together, and I think what a lot of Westerners who come to Singapore, come here skeptical, are often reluctantly pulled into the inescapable conclusion that it seems to work.
It seems to work. But of course, the post-independent Singapore government has been often accused of being extremely keen and extremely competent at social engineering. Of course, the most powerful instrument of social engineering is public housing. Where we force Singaporeans, the large majority of Singaporeans, more than 80% of them, to live in these more or less uniform housing estates. But that form of social engineering also has certain benefits.
Unlike most of the wealthy developed world, there's universal health care and little to no homelessness in Singapore. The country's public housing policy provides an astonishing 80% of Singapore's 5.6 million people with affordable homes, with 90% of the population owning their own home.
Singaporeans would be hard-pressed to name a neighborhood that they would describe as a slum. They'll be hard-pressed to name a neighborhood where they'll say, oh, the people here are live in relatively deprived conditions with poor schooling and poor amenities. I mean, most of Singapore feels, even though economic inequality is high, income inequality is high, you don't see it in the public housing estates.
Right.
It's a picture of general equality.
By ensuring its citizens are safe, housed, healthy, and for the most part economically successful, the Singaporean government has been effective at keeping the masses placated enough, willing to accept curbs on their freedoms and civil liberties.
Do you think that the Singaporean success story is a rebuke to American Western values in some respect?
No.
I mean, is free speech overrated?
I don't think we succeeded because of the absence of free speech. And to a large extent,
look,
the values we spoke
it's a
about, free
factor.
trade, the values of free trade, the values of a liberal global order, these are Western ideas, right? I mean, Singapore did not invent them. The Asia did not invent them.
It shouldn't work.
Harmonious society.
It hasn't really worked like this anywhere else, and yet it works.
No, I think, but my objection or my discomfort with the lack of democratic freedoms is that I think we can allow a lot more of that without hurting Singapore's prosperity and stability 1 ounce.
Right.
What would we lose if we had a freer press? What would we lose if we had more democratic or opposition representation in Singapore? Make for not just a more livelier debate, we'll make for a better debate. We may well arrive at the conclusion that the current dispensation, the current order, represents the best possible society for Singapore. But let's have that debate.
I mean, it's a horrifying thought. But what if,
It's possible that the human mind, that the average citizen cannot deal with that much diversity, that we need these curbs and restrictions on our freedoms.
What if free speech is bad?
It's like a drug, right?
Of the many ethnicities coexisting in Singapore, one of the oldest is the Peranakan culture. Straits-born Chinese who immigrated to the Malay Peninsula in the 16th century.
We have a heritage that exists in Singapore that comprises 5 different ethnic groups. So you have your Chinese, you have your Malay, you have your Indian, you have your Eurasians, and your Peranakan. And this makes the cuisine here very, very special. Cheers, Tony.
Cheers.
Chef Damien De Silva has made it his mission to preserve and protect the knowledge, techniques, and flavors of Singaporean heritage foods. Guan Ho Soon is the oldest Peranakan restaurant in Singapore, predating independence.
So this is a dish that you probably find in Malay home. It's sour, it's sweet because of the pineapple, right? And it's savory as well.
Ikan Asam Nana, sour fish curry with pineapple.
So really, we're talking about a sort of, I hate the word fusion, but it's natural fusion.
It's indigenous fusion. It's a fusion that started 500 years ago. So now it's evolved so much, Tony, that it's become a heritage on its own, a cuisine on its own, There's nothing, I think, that is like this anywhere in the world. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, that's duck. Yeah, that's duck.
Braised duck, is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Itek Sio, duck braised with tamarind and coriander. And the famous ladyfingers, or sambar bandir, okra sautéed with sambal.
Who's cooking now? Has that changed?
It has changed. Everybody wants to go up the ladder very, very quickly, and they want to do it in a way where they don't want to put too much effort in it, right? Where is the prestige in a Peranakan restaurant? You work in the kitchen 12, 14, 15 hours a day, and most of them don't want to do that. So what happens is that they want to work in a French restaurant, they want to work in an Italian restaurant. Why? Because they get more money.
Okay.
Okay?
I think it's a tactical mistake because I just flew halfway around the world to Singapore. And I sure as shit am not eating French food when I'm here.
No, you're right.
And you know what?
You should.
I'm not going to eat Japanese
No,
food.
you shouldn't. So if you talk about Peranakan cuisine, right? And are there people that cook it today? I can tell you out of 100 Peranakans, maybe 1.
Whoa.
Maybe 1.
So you're saying that basically you're talking about the dinosaurs?
Yeah. This no longer exists, Tony. It's gone.
One of the things I admire about Singaporean food culture is that people are very passionate about food. They value a fancy French or Italian meal as much as they enjoy a really good chicken rice.
Right.
They're just not willing to pay for it.
Exactly. You know, that's the public that we have to educate. And it doesn't make sense, Tony, because we're a first world country. You know, how can food be so cheap? How long more is this gonna last? That we pay $3 for chicken rice? It's insane.
I have the solution. It's an ugly solution. It's a terrible solution, but it will probably be the only salvation. It's the hipster solution. It's hipsters will save the day.
No, you're right.
It takes people to stand up and say, look, I don't care whether his is $4. Mine is $12, motherfucker. It's $12, and it's worth it.
But to go and work in a restaurant, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, that needs someone who's not passionate, but a little bit mad.
Man, you're telling me.
A little bit mad.
Cheers to that.
Okay, we'll just let you know what we are doing. This one of dish, right, is my dad's recipe, Hakka recipe. So it's pig trotters with black vinegar. Yes. And this is my mom's recipe, Hainan mixed vegetable.
Meet the Lius, Choi, Ko Liang, daughter Geraldine, and sons Paul and Wayne. The family behind long-running, much-loved eating house, Keng Eng Ki Seafood, in the Alexandria Village neighborhood. And your parents met in the restaurant business?
Yes. We only knew about this story when we get older and the media start to interview them. Say, oh, that's how they know each other. We are typical Chinese. They never talk about how they met. Yeah.
In the beginning, when they're working at your mother's parents' restaurant, and then in the beginning of their eating house, how many hours a day did they work? And how many days a week? How many days vacation?
2个礼拜就是一天哦。
2个礼拜时间，那一天做几个小时？
一天差不多12小时吧。
大概12小时。
12小时。
12 hours per day, and then he gets 1 day off every 2 weeks.
That's hard.
The sauce must work with the rice will be perfect.
Thank you. Oh, it's fantastic. Wow, that's good. Choi has been making this dish for decades. Pig's feet cooked slowly in black vinegar, ginger, dried chilies, and assam. Chap chai is a Hainanese family favorite. Cabbage and glass noodles stir-fried with bean curd, black mushrooms, pig skin, and shrimp. Now, I've been speaking to a lot of people who talk about how Singapore loves its hawker culture, it loves its food, but the general story is the first generation starts a hawker stall, they get successful, they send the kids to school, and they tell them, I did not work hard, so you could go in a restaurant business.
My dad and mom say the same thing, like, don't come into business.
Get a 9 to 5 job. Stay in the air conditioning room.
Many of the people I speak to are very sad that these original recipes and preparations are disappearing. You know, other than this wonderful family, who do your parents think will keep these traditions alive?
My mom was saying, like, now that the government encourage a lot of young people to preserve our traditions and all, so I think she believe and hope that 10 years down the road, maybe more people like us or younger generation will go and take over the business.
Right now, Win's eldest daughter is 14. Yeah, we are making sure she help out in the shop on weekends. So to let her understand, it's not easy to earn, like...
But would you like your child to stay in the restaurant business?
Yeah, so if they're really interested in this industry, why not? I will just, yeah.
You say yeah?
Yeah, yes.
This is so good, by the way. It's delicious food. Mm. Now, Singapore is a rich country. A lot of rich people live here. Why can't you charge as much money for this traditional food as the French charge for French food. What do you think? Why won't Singaporeans pay?
Actually, just a couple of months ago, we go through some of our old photos, and there's one photo that is like almost 20 years ago. There's a price list. They're selling their fried rice at $3 a pack. Right now, we are selling $4. So
20 years later.
$1 more.
Why? Singaporeans love food.
I think there's like a bond between us and the customer, so he doesn't want to increase the price.
You know your
If there is
customers.
need. Yeah.
You have a lot of regulars.
Yeah. A lot of them is like, they've seen us growing up, the three of us, and we see their kids growing up. So I think there's a different kind of bond between us and the customers.
I just hope this doesn't disappear because it's, of course, always going to be the good stuff. It's important. Look a little more, maybe a little more.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha Om Dhanvantraye Namaha Om Amritakalapayastaya Namaha.
Singapore is a multinational society. We got Chinese, Malay, Indian, other races in Singapore.
It seems to work.
It works, yes.
One last trip straight back to where it all started for me. A simple, good thing. In this case, one of my favorite things. Here it is, the mighty char kway teow. Ordinarily, this is a breakfast. I eat it every time I'm in Singapore. It's just about the unhealthiest breakfast you can have. I mean, it's literally like lard, crispy lard bits, healthy cockles, shrimp paste, and a whole lot of noodles. And it's like legendarily fattening, originally created for to feed laborers. So, it ain't pretty. Not the healthiest of breakfast, but delicious. You're looking to fit into that silver lame Speedo, this would not be option one. Oh, man. Problem is, you eat this surrounded by all these sort of wonders of Asia in the food court here, and after this, you're kind of done. I don't know how anybody works after this, frankly. Once in a while, you hit a little piece of crispy pork fat. Well, my work is done here today. Why?
In Singapore, everything is perfect here. This is one of the safest countries in the world. We are gifted to be in Singapore. It shows a good example to the world.
Pity the salaryman. Tokyo's willing cog in an enormous machine requiring long hours, low pay, total dedication. And sometimes what's called karoshi, death by overwork. Here in a society of tight spaces and many expectations, the pressure's on. To keep up appearances, to do what's expected. To not let the interior life become exterior. But at night, things are different.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
What do you need to know about Tokyo? Deep, deep waters. First time I came here, it was a transformative experience. It was powerful and violent experience. It was as if it was just like taking acid for the first time, meaning, what do I do now? I see the whole world in a different way. I often compare the experience of going to Japan for the first time, going to Tokyo for the first time, to what Eric Clapton and Pete Townsend must have gone through, the reigning guitar gods of England, what they must have gone through the week that Jimi Hendrix came to town. You hear about it, you go see it, a window opens up into a whole new thing, and you think, what does this mean? What do I have left to say? What do I do now?
Welcome to Tokyo. You are not invited. This is the other Tokyo. 12-hour flight, and I'm baked. No sleep. Might as well, must, go out. The Kabuchiko district near my hotel has the advantage of being where the subterranean life, the repressed ids of the Japanese male, and some females too, comes out to play. Joining me is Japanese film producer and production manager Masa Kokubo. Always a good sign when protective chains separate entertainers from the soon-to-be entertained, right? Prepare yourself for the greatest show in the history of entertainment.
A long time ago, in a different race, there lived peacefully in the old forest on a planet far away.
No, no, it can't be over. Not yet, no! But yet it is, with a series of chaste high fives with the hard-working performers.
Okay, I gotta tell you, I've seen Jimi Hendrix.
Have you?
I've seen Janis Joplin. I've seen David Bowie, Diamond Dogs. I've seen Colleen Dewhurst and Jason Robards in Moon for the Misbegotten, directed by Jose Quintero on Broadway.
Oh.
Considered one of the greatest productions ever in the history. This was the greatest show I've ever seen in my life. It had it all. It was the greatest show in the history of entertainment. I don't understand it. I'm completely confused. There's like 100 people working on that show. Millions of dollars worth of like robots and technology. How do they make money?
Well, one thing for sure about this area is that like, quite a lot of businesses unspoken but governed by the Yakuza.
The Yakuza. That's the fraternal organization prominent in the entertainment and financial services sector, as they say, who are said to, supervise things here in Shinjuku. Principally your arcades, your gambling, pachinko, adult entertainments, your porn shops and sex clubs, along with other ancillary services. But how much actual boning is going on in the sex district? Generally speaking, it's more a field of dreams than the actual act of sex. Hostess cafes, for instance, where a lonely, overworked salaryman can find the attention of cute, seemingly adoring girls who find their every utterance fascinating.
So now Hostess Bar is, I just want somebody to tell me I'm fantastic. Oh, you're so interesting. Your job is interesting. You are a very sexy man. I don't care what your wife says. I think you're really interesting.
Penetration, maybe by a Q-tip in the ear, followed by a personal love spell in this case to make your tea taste better.
Okay, what is this place? What's happening here?
Oh, this is the young...
Are these boys?
Young boy host clubs for, not for men, but for middle-aged ladies who are bored with the regular housewife's life.
Well, wait a minute, you got like a million guys wandering around here looking to get... And then you got a whole bunch of bored middle-aged housewives coming in here.
Spending quite a lot of money.
Why don't they go to the same club and somebody will actually have sex?
People don't like getting rejected, so they sort of like pay for their pleasure. And then they make you feel welcome, and maybe you can feel like, I'm not that bad after talking to those girls or boys.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Well...
No, that's heartbreaking, dude. Is the business of Shinjuku dreams?
It is more for the dream of doing so, which is never going to happen.
Really? All of this? I mean, it is a very enticing situation. I mean, look at this. Wait a minute. She looks like she really likes me. Look, she's got her tongue tucked up in the corner of her mouth.
Who? Which one?
Oh, no.
That's a boy, though.
Oh. Well. Whatever.
Golden Guy. Long my favorite place to drink in Tokyo. Hundreds of micro-sized bars, each different from the other, with their own micro crowd. I love it here.
No, actually, I've never been here before. Maybe I have, I don't know.
This place is one of Masa's favorites, Bar Albatross. A few seats, strong drinks, the definition of a hole in the wall.
Now, do people come here right from work, drink all night, and then go back to work?
仕事終わってすぐ来られて。
やっぱ多いのはサラリーマン。
Oh, salaryman.
Salaryman? Would a salaryman bring his wife here?
それは奥さんっていうわけじゃなくてですよね。
奥さんのが。
So, look, in America, the bartender is like a priest.
So you come and talk to them?
I can tell him all of my problems. And I could behave very badly, and he will never talk, ever. This is the contract.
Okay.
absolute confidentiality. Do I have that kind of arrangement here now?
こっから出さないようにしてもらえますかって聞いてますけど。
そういうことですね。それはもう秘密を守ります。
So I have his implied guarantee of total security.
Yep.
So if I came here with some dinosaur riding hoe in a bikini,
What?
it would be. I'm. No, you don't have to ask. It's okay. Oh man, this is a great country. Every chef I know wants to die here.
Is that about the food?
Because the food is awesome. And because I think all of us understand that we don't understand anything about Japan. And I totally don't understand the porn here.
What way?
Why is it okay? You can't somebody with a penis, but you can with an octopus tentacle. In Japan, there is a very old, very deep, and very rich tradition of martial arts. Many styles, many schools. The Yonakura Gym in Toshima Ward focuses on boxing, and this man, Kenji Yonakura, is a legend, having trained generations of fighters using a simple and effective philosophy that has some real application to our story. There it is, pasted on the wall behind the ring. 1. Speed. 2. Timing. 3. Distance. The same idea applies to the convention-shunning sushi techniques of New York City legend Naomichi Yasuda. Until recently, the chef partner of one of the very best, if not the best, sushi restaurant in New York, the eponymous Sushi Yasuda. A short while ago, under very mysterious and completely misreported circumstances, he left the Manhattan restaurant, which still bears his name, and at age 52, moved to Tokyo to start all over again. I was determined to track him down and see what the hell he was doing. These days, this great man is running a 14-seat sushi bar in the Minato district of Tokyo. His wife, Naomi, is his only helper.
Welcome to new place. Thank you for coming.
Why did you do such a hard thing?
This city, Tokyo, this is kind of the mecca of the sushi. So I just want to be the sushi chef in Tokyo.
Yasuda is a friend, and my master in the sense that he's taught me pretty much everything I know about sushi over the years. He's a very, very interesting and complex man who constantly surprises.
Tony-san, this wasabi is one of the most expensive wasabi. So I wait. Finally, this one goes to the discount box. Then I bought this.
It's very French of you. So many things separate Yasuda-san from other Japanese sushi masters. The most noticeable is his hands. They're huge. Look at the knuckles, enormous, from years of pounding cement walls during repeated daily practice in Kyokushin karate. He first trained and competed in Tokyo. And when he came to New York, he continued to practice. Often in underground bare-knuckle matches where you fight until someone gets beaten to the ground. This style Yasuda practiced was about beating your opponent as quickly and as aggressively as possible. Speed, every second is important. Rice is getting cold, seaweed is getting soggy, fish less than perfect temperature. Look at his posture, a fighter's stance. Distance, knowing the perfect spot to be. Moving in and out as needed, never out of position. Timing, reacting to his customers' pace of eating, their ever-changing desires, always ready for the next move. Most people who don't understand sushi will go to a sushi bar and say, "Oh, I had the best sushi last night. The fish was so fresh. It was right out of the ocean."
Freshest fish, there's no taste. Just chewing, just hard. And people think, oh, freshest should be good, but it wasn't.
Yasuda's menu changes constantly with what he finds in the market. And like thousands of other sushi chefs, he heads every day to Tsukiji, Tokyo's central fish market, where nearly 3,000 tons of the world's best seafood arrives every day. But unlike most others at his level who arrive at 4 a.m. to cream off what they perceive as the best and freshest, Yasuda-san arrives later. He does not buy the ridiculously expensive otoro, the fatty belly meat of the bluefin tuna that people have been known to pay hundreds of dollars a pound for. Instead, he buys tuna from the heads, using his knife skills to go for qualities that most others miss, removing every bit of sinew from what would otherwise be a difficult piece of meat, until it's, well, perfect. And he cures the results, actually cures it, breaking down its molecular structure in a desirable way by freezing it quickly in a medical-grade blast freezer, where it will stay for a week or longer at minus 82 degrees Celsius. He pioneered this technique years ago in New York, where if you bothered to ask, he would have proudly told you that the absolutely unbelievably sublime piece of perfect sushi you were eating was frozen.
Delicious.
Thank you very much.
Which is more important, the rice or the fish? Or what
Rice.
percentage? Rice, more important.
About 90%.
Wow, that's...
Fish is the second ingredient. The main ingredient is rice. So my sushi is rice.
Yasuda, he still trains, though his fighting days are over. He says he was tired of hurting people. He brings me to Kamiyo Dojo in Asakusa to try and show me how his sushi technique and Kyokushin karate are one and the same. Nobuyuki Kamiyo, the master.
Nice. Many of the people ask me, what's the point between the karate and the sushi? But this movement is so much good for the when I make the sushi because of the stance. The other different type of the karate, the stance is a little bit more upper. So this karate is a stance is a little bit more deep. This. So standing in front of the cutting board, little bit of the deep stance and movement, deep stance, and the body move this and watch to the vision from left to the right, right focus. Move this, move this. Then watch this and watch this. This is one of the key. So this karate is my sushi roots.
Now, in an official tournament, 2-minute round.
2-minute round.
And the result you're looking for is points.
Point or knockdown. But 2 minutes fight or 1 minute fight, that's most hardest.
It's underground. You can just work on their legs for 5-7 minutes to slow them down. Yes. Then you go in.
Yes, and no compromise, just do it. Whatever may happen, no excuse. See the result, good or not. If it's bad, try again. Don't give up.
Right.
This is my sushi.
Perfect.
Those who buy into the notion of Japanese women as shy, giggling, subservient victims of convention would be confused by Tomika. People, as everywhere, if you look deeper, can surprise you. Her day job is doing this. And I gather from what she tells me that she gets plenty of work. The Tepito ward of Tokyo, another complicated warren of businesses layer upon layer, where excellent izakayas are well represented. Places where a hard-working salaryman can have a beer or some sake, or many beers and many sakes. And salty, savory, pickly, delicious snacks that go brilliantly with alcohol.
Please, yes.
Tomika brings me to one of them, Daitoro, to meet some friends.
Kanpai.
Oh, kanpai.
There's kusaya, grilled fermented fish, followed by some skewers of beef intestine and chicken. This place is known for its motsunabe, intestine stew with miso, so we order some of that as well. This is Naga, invited along to help translate. Naga runs a custom service company, but he also teaches pole dancing for men. Then there's this man, Kinoko Hajime, one of the best-known and most respected practitioners, a master of Shibari, the art of ropes, of beautiful knots, of what, for lack of a better word, we call bondage.
So how big is the sadomasochistic community? How many people are active participants?
10万人ぐらいもっといるかもう勝手な俺の予想です今すごい計算して 100,000 people a lot.
This is Shibari. Translation, to bind. And to make things more confusing for those looking for a concise takeaway, a comfortable reaction to what sure as hell looks pretty disturbing, Tomika, who spends most of her time whipping, burning, and generally abusing men, enthusiastically reverses roles in her long-time relationship with Hajime.
It looks like a very delicate procedure. Does it hurt? Or does it feel good?
いや、気持ちいいよね。もちろん。Of course. But this pain changed to the ecstasy.
何も考えない時間っていうのが一瞬でもある感じがする。
What she said, when she was tied up, no need to think. Just leave it to. She loved that.
Performance art, craft, fetish, or compulsion. It's an old and shockingly omnipresent feature of Japanese popular fantasy culture. Magazines, movies, even comic books, the intricate restraint of a willing victim is, well, it's there, not far from the surface.
What percentage of Japanese men are interested in either tying up women or subjugating women?
そういう女性をこう縛ったり。多分全員やってると思うんですよ、家では。All of them.
All of them. Well, then the question is, how many Japanese men like to be tied up?
あ、こっちの彼女。
全員ですね。
All of them.
So in your experience, all Japanese men like to tie women up, but in your experience, all Japanese men like to be tied up. Who's more
up sexually? Americans or Japanese?
態度が変わったりするかって、例えば店のオーナーとして。
はい。そうですね。全部一緒です。
Same.
よかったらやってみるといいんじゃない？
So maybe she suggests you to be tightened up.
A little late for me. In America, where I come from, we are told at a certain age to put aside childish things. The action figures, dolls, and creatures of our imaginations, to arm ourselves for the brutal realities of the real world, real combat, real sex. In Japan, increasing numbers of people don't. They continue to live a life inside four walls, inside their mind, the life we call of the computer geek, the nerd, as avatars. There's a name for it, a whole subculture of what's called otaku. Once a derisive term, now a proud identifier of the geek, one who has turned his back on the real world and finds satisfaction elsewhere. Manga or comic books hold a different place in the cultural landscape here and address different needs. There's yaoi, for example, otherwise known as boys love manga, extremely popular with teenage girls. Stories change, but the core themes are sexually ambiguous boys getting very friendly with each other. What legions of young girls and soccer moms find compelling in the thousands of these titles is something of a mystery to outsiders looking in. But there they are, whole sections of manga bookshops dedicated to basically One Direction type boy band figures having sex with each other. Yaoi isn't generally explicit, though it can be. Some of the most popular manga are, however, lurid, over-the-top illustrated stories of incredible violence, rape, murder, and sexual fetishism. Toshio Maeda is a manga creator like few others, the father of what can only be described as tentacle porn. His 1986 manga Urotsuki Doji was about half-human, half-bestial space invaders in search of an evil supreme being. It contained unbelievably graphic, lurid, violent, and one would argue offensive images of sex acts involving not sexual organs, but other protuberances. It became a huge hit and has been imitated widely, both in other manga and in live-action films. A whole genre of lurid but extraordinarily well-drawn madness. At Meino Umi restaurant, Toshio tries to explain.
You know, this girl seems like a high school girl. So, basically, it's forbidden. It's our sense.
Notice, by the way, the distinguished owner and her complete lack of shock or offense at the graphic, frankly horrifying images of rape, violation, and murder spread casually across the table for all to see. Japanese manga, ones that everyone reads on the subway home even, well, they're different.
The big breakthrough was you couldn't draw penises, you couldn't draw specifically orifices, you couldn't actually show humans penetrating each other.
In Japan,
right,
it was a big no-no at that time. So I invented tentacles to be evasive about the law.
Also demons.
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 Yes.
It's fantastic. Whether you meant to at the time, you absolutely changed the world of manga. You created an entire spectrum of pornography that didn't exist before. I mean, if you go to YouTube now, there's tentacle manga. There and tentacle and demon manga. There is tentacle and demon anime. A lot. Oh, that looks good.
For dinner, there's katsuo no tataki, fresh bonito seared quickly over flame, arranged in bite-sized pieces, garnished with daikon, fresh greens, sprouts, and ponzu. Toshio comes here often for the tomato nabe, commonly a favorite of sumo wrestlers as part of a weight gain diet. Basically, it's a hot pot of meat and vegetables. Chicken, pork, beef, fish balls keep getting fed into the pot, usually alongside much beer and rice, adding that much-needed bulk-up factor so important to sumo wrestlers and cable TV hosts.
So appealing to the hidden desires of a manga buying audience. Men want filthier, dirtier, more violent.
In Japan, you can't be rude in public.
Right.
But you need to just, I can say that, letting off steam.
Right.
So probably the manga is the one way to do that.
What do women want? Generally speaking, what do women want in manga?
Yaoi.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys love. Because probably don't have enough experience to do that with real men.
But nobody's going to the fish market and asking for live octopus. Probably not.
Probably not.
The pop music scene in Tokyo is not that different than ours, with an accent, though, on pretty boy bands, pop idols, tween stars. Generic, industry-created crap for the most part. Like I said, not so different than us. Picture an army of Miley Cyruses, or would that be Miley Cyri? Going against the grain are a few lone heroes like Merging Moon. 2 self-released albums and no hint of a record deal. Damn Suits, what do they know? Lead singer, you. Sweet, shy, pop-friendly, Lilith Fair, no.
Yeah, so how big an audience in Japan for thrash metal, death metal, hardcore?
We had Ozzy Osbourne's Ozfest this year as the first time in Japan. And I feel like people are watching the heavy metal scene as a new movement.
And audiences, good audiences here?
They are kind of polite.
They're polite. Really?
They are really quiet and just watching us. And when we finish playing, they suddenly grab.
Polite. Really? You know, when I look at popular music, the stuff that's selling millions of records in America, it makes me angry, actually.
Do you mean that you sometimes get angry with some people?
Yeah, if I see Nickelback, I want to kill myself. Okay, I want to kill them, and then I want to kill myself. And then I want to kill everybody who listens to them. Okay. So like, what's so funny? That's true. Like, I mean, who do you hate? What band do you hate? What a band that I would know. Who's the worst band in the world? The worst popular band in the world? Who?
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, My Chemical Romance, yes. Hate them. That's a good one. Can you make a living?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all.
We all have part-time jobs.
You all have jobs. What do your families think when they see you doing this kind of music?
But we are at 22 to 25 years old. So it's the hunting job season in our lives. So
there's pressure on you.
Yeah. And we all went to university and a lot of money.
The expectation, the pressure is, okay, get a real job.
Yeah.
Put aside this rock and roll shit and get a real job. In a perfect world, would you like to play rock and roll every night? Would you like to play metal every night?
Yeah, I can be a cleaner in the toilet if I can keep doing this.
And you? Yeah, these guys look like lifers.
Tokyo may well be the most amazing food city in the world, with a nearly unimaginable variety of places stacked one on top of the other, tucked away on every level of densely packed city streets. At Lawson's, you can dig into their unnaturally fluffy, insanely delicious, incongruously addictive egg salad sandwiches. I love them.
Oh, yeah!
Layer after layer after layer of awesome. Crowded eateries serving who knows what. But it all smells delicious and looks enticing. In the tiny, almost micro neighborhood of Nakameguro, Tokyo, all is quiet. And amazingly, for right here in the middle of this eye-goggling pinball machine of a city, green. Yasuda lives near here, and he loves this place. A low-key joint to enjoy family meals and meet friends.
I so much appreciate and seeing you and all of the people from the U.S.
Well, we miss you, you know.
I miss New York City.
I'll tell you something really terrible. Every relationship I've ever had with a woman, at some point, very early on, I bring them to Yasuda in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I would watch how they eat.
Mm-hmm.
If they talk too much, if they didn't understand how to eat sushi, if they did not eat the uni, we will never have a relationship. We will. That's it. It's the end.
They don't serve high-end sushi here or elaborate kaiseki-inspired fare. It's almost like hipster tempura. This style of food is known as kushiage, skewers of delicious things dipped in batter and fried perfectly. Yasuda-san orders up shrimp and basil, lotus root, octopus, and pickled quail eggs. We also have to have their take on okonomiyaki, a type of egg batter pancake that can be filled with many things. For us, it's squid and brushed with Worcestershire sauce.
Wow, that's awesome.
I've been coming here for many times, but this is the first time to eat.
Okonomiyaki, yeah. Love this dish. You lived in New York, what, 14 years, 18 years?
27 years. So since 1984 to 2011.
27 years in New York.
Yeah.
That changes a person.
Yes, very much.
You're a New Yorker now.
Yes.
What was the hardest thing to get used to when you first came here?
Culture.
The culture.
Yes, culture is so much different between the U.S. and here. And Manhattan is so interesting, always. I never ever get boring. That city...
Look, I never get bored, and I always learn new things in Manhattan. But there's 15, 20 different Manhattans in Tokyo, to me. I mean, if you... Shinjuku, Shibuya, Roppongi, from my perspective, these are completely different cities, even building to building. Pachinko down here, nightclub for men, nightclub for girls, nightclub for rock and rollers, hair salon, but all up. 50 different businesses in one building.
Yes.
One building. I could spend the next 5 years just doing shows on this one building.
What is weird? What is strange? What do those things even mean anyway? Sure, a lot of what you've seen looks different from maybe the mainstream. It's certainly different from the way we like to portray ourselves, see ourselves, at least our daytime selves. But roughly 50% of all movies rented in American hotel rooms are adult films. The American porn industry catering to exactly the kinds of dark urges we've been talking about, but even nastier, is a $12 billion a year industry that dwarfs the Hollywood product. Our own obsessions, arguably, are at least as crazy, violent, and lurid as Japan's. And we tend to actually carry out our violent fantasies more frequently. Maybe with that fetishism, that attention to detail, comes some kind of excellence in other fields. Maybe there's a line from there to here. So, who's crazy now?